Ooh. So I guess I'm live. See how this works. So I'm waiting for my buddy to jump in here. What's up, dude? Oh, I forgot how to post the link. I need help, Alex. I haven't been in StreamYard in 6 months. Um, where's the link at again there, Alex? Alright, I think I see it. Feed. Paste. Is that it? Haha! I think I figured it out. Oh, look at this. You can click on all the links. It's changed a little bit since the last time I used it. So are we beating the Eagles tomorrow or what? Man, our O line's banged up. I think we got a shot. What's up, Ian? So I got my buddy Ask Donnie. He's a small YouTuber. He's supposed to be coming over. He wants to talk about the NBA and the bubble and the COVID and all that stuff for a little bit. We're gonna get into some Giants talk here. Probably gonna get crushed because I think the entertainment's getting on in a couple minutes here. So appreciate you guys popping in though. What's up, football talk? What's going on, my man? I'm gonna have to pull this up on my phone because there's a delay on my laptop. I don't know if it's because my laptop's an old junky piece of shit or what. I have to pull this up. It's going, bro. It's going. I'm a Giants fan, so life's a little rough right now. I'm plus I'm a Knicks fan, so I mean, I guess I'm kind of sort of used to all the losing and all that, but man, it's rough. It is rough when you're barely beating the Washington football team that no names. you know, we at least have a few bright spots, So Bradbury, Martinez, we at least got some of these guys for the next few years. Dexter Lawrence, so it ain't all that bad. It ain't all doom and gloom. Let's get our O line fixed and get a few more weapons over up in this bitch. I'm actually surprised my mic's working through this port. It's ridiculous. I'll have to jump on Twitter or something, see where he's at. I think there's a link there in chat. If anyone wants to jump in, you're welcome to. I don't care. I'm listening, Alex says. Hey, Alex, if you want to jump in, go ahead, man. I don't care. Figure it out. Oh, shit, he did. He hit me up on Twitter. I didn't. I'm horrible at this shit. You can see how prepared I am. Yo, Alex, I forgot how many free hours do you get a month? Dude, yeah, Alex, sure, whatever. Man, you can jump on there now. I don't care. I'm not worried about it. Man, I should have went on Twitter and talked to him. I'm an idiot. Yeah, but I saw something interesting. All right, we signed James Bradbury. Now I know a lot of Giants fans were, yeah, 20 hours a month. That's nice. That's cool. That's cool they do that. Um, yeah, I saw a lot of Giants fans. They all wanted that Byron Scott dude that went to Miami, and he's been horrible, horrible, horrible this year. So I mean, it kind of looked like we made the right move at middle linebacker and cornerbacks. Now, I actually made a video. What was it? About 6 months ago, and I said on a video, everybody's gonna be because everybody was saying, "Oh, Blake Martinez is gonna be horrible. He's gonna be horrible." I knew he's gonna be just fine. Yeah, bro. You're like, listen, I'm not. Listen, it's a little bit of an awkward situation with me and Daniel Jones. Everybody thinks like I'm some kind of like big Jones defender or whatever. I'm a defender of all young players, first of all. So if you're coming out with just a Daniel Jones sucked or something, that ain't good enough for me. Uh, I want some nuance to it. I mean, yeah, I'm fine with he did this and that and this and that, but just say this dude's a bust or something, or this dude sucks after 16, 17 games. I ain't all with that. I don't even want to listen to that. It's just there's not, especially with the surrounding pieces we got right now. I want to go into the season and just have a fair evaluation of not just Daniel Jones but all our young players. Yeah. All right, here we go. I hope that works. I hope that links right. You know what I mean, though, Alex? Or did you bolt? Did you leave? So doing it. I guess he's jumping over now. Like I said, Alex, you can jump in whenever you want, dude. I don't care. I guess he's coming over. It's the first time he's never streamed, so I don't know if I should connect on my phone because I don't like the camera on my laptop. It is horrible. Thinking about jumping in on my phone. Let me see if I can do this. All right. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man?
We made it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and connect on my cell phone because my camera on my laptop is horrible. Seriously, it looks like all staticky and shit.
Yeah.
I ain't popped up yet, so. How you doing tonight, man? I didn't think you were gonna show up.
Nah, man, I've been waiting for this the whole day. I did good. I mean, I posted another video.
Whoa, what is that? All right, hold on, man. I'm gonna switch up here.
Wait, I think there's another stream open. Hello?
What up, dude?
Yo.
There's two of me.
Yeah, man. Hey, where am I? I don't know how to work any of this.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
neither.
me
I'm
neither.
completely inept. I'm just like
I'm just
Jason
like
Garrett
Jason
over
Garrett.
here.
I actually like Jason Garrett.
Do you?
Do
I
you?
do. I mean,
I can't
I can't
stand this
stand this
dude.
dude.
He just
He
runs
just runs
spacing like
spacing like
every.
every.
Just
He
runs
just
with
runs with
sticks and
sticks and
spaces.
spaces.
Hate it.
Hate it.
but you know what it is with him? I feel like the offense that he's trying to give us is based on the skill set that DJ has. You know, he's not going to
Right.
overcomplicate anything. That's the thing with Garrett because he's had better offenses than what we have now. You know what I mean? But he's
I
not
don't
I
going to.
don't
mind the
mind the
running
running
plays.
plays.
But it's just the passing play. Yeah, the passing plays are even worse. To be honest with you.
I
I
don't like
don't
the
like the
passing
passing route
concepts at all.
concepts at all.
There's just not
There's
enough
just not
deep
enough
stuff
deep
for
stuff
me.
for me.
Yeah, no,
And not just
And not
going
just
deep
going
like
deep
the
like
dude
the
from
dude from Bobby from Talking
Giants.
Giants.
He
He
talks
talks
about
about
a
a
lot.
lot. Not just
Going deep
going
to
deep to
pass
pass
deep, but you
deep, but
go
you go
deep to
deep to
open
open
up
up
stuff
stuff
underneath
underneath
too.
too.
no, I hear you. Wait, can you close one of these? The one of these has to close so it doesn't echo for me.
Oh, it's
Oh, it's
echoing.
echoing.
Yeah, because there's two of you.
All right,
All right, hold on. Let me.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
probably have to
probably have to
switch
switch
back.
back.
No, because either or is fine. Okay.
All right, I'm back. What is going on with this thing? Ah,
I don't
devil!
know what that is.
All right,
Or
can you
if
hear
you-
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now I got my volume off. I'm a jackass. All right, we're gonna work through all these kinks. We're gonna figure this out.
Yeah, man. Hey, one step at a time, right?
There we go.
All
All
right.
right, man. What do you want to start with here? You want to start with the NBA, or you just want to keep vibing on the Giants? Or...
Let's start with the Giants. Let's start with Giants today. Welcome everybody for joining. I don't know who's in there.
There's literally no people, but that's okay. Everybody's over the entertainers.
We'll pretend like we have like millions of followers.
Yeah.
You know, like
people can check it out after. People pop in here and there. It's just,
yeah.
Hey, listen, this YouTube shit's a grind. That's what I expected.
No, definitely, man. Like now's a good time to get into this stuff. You know, we're home, and some of us are still trying to find jobs and stuff like that. So
yeah, I lost my career over all this COVID shit.
You serious?
Yeah. I was the same job for 16 years. It's probably never gonna get it back. But
you're a teacher?
What's
professor?
that?
You're a professor?
No, hell no. I can't deal with kids all day. Be a school shooting. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So if we're gonna talk about the Giants, what do you think about the offensive line? I know they're struggling a little bit, but are you concerned about Andrew Thomas at all? I know it's only 6 games.
Yeah, but our problem is that our offensive line right now, we play in spurts. We never go a full, let's say, 3 downs where we can say like, okay, we've accomplished something. So Andrew Thomas is like, it's a big loss right now, and we need more parts to the puzzle than we have, and that is my problem. I just don't see where this is going to come from. Where is this going to come from? And we have problems defensively and we have problems offensively, but there's no. I think Michael Strahan. I don't know if you remember. I think it was 2 weeks ago. He said that the Giants don't have an identity, right?
They don't.
We don't have something because every team has something that we can build around, but the Giants don't have anything. So I think we need to start with that. And left tackle, right tackle, it's almost like Jesus Christ. Like, where do you want to start? I don't even know. Do you know like what's a good spot that we let go of all our guys? All our guys are gone. So we don't have anything. So I these guys are young, and I'm sure they're putting in the effort to play. I don't want to question that, but it's like, if you look at an organization now from what we had maybe 10 years ago by now to what we have now, like I just feel like we never prepared for after Eli. We never prepared for all of that. We were kind of just, we were kissing ass to Eli. Let's be honest with you, because when Odell was there, if Odell said anything against Eli, it was immediately Odell's ass. And over the years, I've come to understand his frustration, even though sometimes he can be immature. But look, there's no Eli now, right? So and there's no Odell. So you don't have Odell to blame, and Eli is really gone. He really retired. So what does this leave Daniel Jones with? A guy that wasn't really touted that high anyway, but I think he can play. But if you put this offensive line in front of him, do you feel comfortable going forward maybe 4 or 5 years? Because this will take a lot of drafts, like in NFL, it's not like the NBA. In the NFL, you got to be very, very careful who you draft because you're not just going to be able to trade for players the way you do in the NBA. So I honestly don't even know where to start offensively,
Well, I see two pieces. I think Gates is a piece that we can work with, even if you don't work out at center. I think he could be a decent guard. Zeitler, we maybe get one more year out of him, but he's started to show decline this year.
Yeah.
And Will Hernandez, I don't know. I mean, if you're okay with average to below average guard play, then you're okay there. I'd like to keep trying to get something better there. I mean, we got the young guard there, Lemieux or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. We don't know how he is, but I'd like to work him in somewhere in this season to get a peek at him because I am just not happy with Lemieux. I mean, Andrew Thomas, listen, left tackle is one of the hardest positions to play coming out of college. He's a long and strong kid. He's just got to work on a few things. His punch, he's got to learn. He's struggling with his punch, and he's getting beat a lot on the inside, which has got him protected on the inside. Now he's getting beat on the outside. So these are the little things that got to work out. Even Tyron Smith, I mean, maybe the best left tackle we've seen in the last 20 years gave up 8 sacks as a rookie. So, unfortunately, nobody has patience right now. But we need time. But as I see right now, for permanent pieces on the offensive line, I'd say 2. It's Nick Gates, even though he's playing like shit right now, and Andrew Thomas. I mean, Matt Part, he filled in okay, but I mean, these are just little dribs and drabs we're getting. Now, if you put him in for 5-6 games, just like Andrew Thomas has played, he's going to get exposed too. Teams are going to get something on tape on you, and they're going to attack your weakness. Right. So, and Matt Parrott, just when he played the one drive, the first game, he has very slow feet. He likes to dip his head and put it into the player, and his feet stop moving. He is susceptible to bull rushing. So we don't know. He's a 3rd-round pick. He's promising just because he's an athletic freak. But we need guards. We need guards. If Lemieux ain't the answer, and you're not going to get the answer after 1 year, and the next year, if you get it all depends on what's going to happen with the cap. If the cap goes down, then we're in trouble. But if you got the money, I wouldn't mind picking up a mid-level contract on a guard and just moving on from Zeitler if his play don't pick up. Because he's set to make 13, 14 million next year. If you cut him, though, I don't know. The O-line's a mess, and it's been a mess, dating back, like you were saying, all the way even back to Eli's career. Because when you pay your quarterback, you're not going to have the money to pay everybody on the O-line. So what happens is when you start losing expensive pieces, when you don't have the money, you rely on the draft. If you missed on the draft, you miss on them draft to replace your high price offensive lineman, you're going to suffer. And that's what happened. Everybody who left, and Jerry Reese made bad picks, them positions, they didn't work out. Pugh. What was the other? Pugh, he was supposed to be an answer at right tackle after Kareem McKenzie left. Nope. Booden McGard, he was suitable. He's always hurt. Just a disaster. Westberg came in the center. He was suitable for a year, kind of like a Hernandez right now. It's almost the same situation playing out. And of course, Eric Flowers, we're getting going in that mess.
Don't even mention that motherfucker. Penalty after penalty. Where is he now? Is he still in the league, Eric Flowers?
Well, last year he got moved to guard and played for, at the time, the Redskins, now the Washington No Names. He played there for a season. He just signed a monster contract to play right guard, I believe, with the Dolphins, and he's not doing so good over there. Yeah, the first couple of games were really good, and I believe he's allowed the most sacks on the team over there at the guard position. So he's still horrible. Right, but they're paying him $10 million a year. I can't believe it.
I was having nightmares about that guy. Because it's but that's the Giants for you. You got guys like him, and you had the guy at corner. You had Eli Apple, right? Didn't work out. Then you had what's that other kid's name? You had I can't think of his name right now. It's just for the Giants, you know what it is? Oh, the guy that got charged with the gun thing.
Oh, DeAndre Baker.
Yeah. Like he's
I knew
gone.
he was bad. I knew he was bad news last year on him sleeping in meetings. You can't do that shit in the NFL. You want to zone out, that's fine, but you can't actually nod off and go to sleep. Come on, man. Wake the hell up.
Yo, but that's what it is. You know, the Giants they pride themselves on being this organization with class, and to some extent we've experienced that. But now, if we look at the last 4 or 5 years, we're getting it wrong every year in this draft, and that's the bad part about. Like you said, you got to make sure that you have at least somebody that you can start with. And to me, there's too many open positions. I can't even make a detailed plan going forward because for all I know, I'm telling you, I said in my video, I said it would have taken us till the game that we just had to win, and we won by luck. Let's be honest. Like it's not.
Yeah, we our defense played horrible. Everybody
You know,
can say whatever. They had that one big play, but they've been horrible on third down all year.
they can't stop anybody on third down, and I
No.
don't understand that. It'll be third and long, way long. And then still, somehow, some way, we were giving up these plays. And that leads me to the next portion where we were talking about Garrett and Judge. Joe Judge might not make it to the end of the season, And our conference is horrible. Can you believe it? We're actually still in the playoff picture. We're like 1-5. It's just,
I actually think right now, if things would have turned out a little bit different here and there, we could be a 3-2 team, and could be way up on a division, which is ridiculous because how bad this team is. Think about how bad this division has to be to where we could be 3-2 and be that much up above the division. Them looking up at us, pitiful. And that Cowboys game, I thought was a joke. We should have won that easily. They are a horrible team. Their defense is horrible. Their offense cannot stop turning the ball over. Carson Wentz is a fucking idiot. I made a video on him. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. He is horrible. If he beats us, I am going to go ape shit on this defense.
But that's the thing, like how high is your confidence, because to be honest with you,
I'm broken.
Yeah, but we played well against the Steelers. I thought we played well against the Steelers. I thought
I think that was all Daniel Jones.
You think so? Just him trying to with him and
that was the best game. Other than that, obviously Daniel Jones has that one fucking stupid play every game.
Yeah.
But I thought that was Daniel Jones' best game that I've seen him in that for the Steelers game. A lot of that though was nobody knew what the hell Garrett was going to run coming out.
Yeah, it was.
And once teams see that first game, that's the thing though. Coaches nowadays, you got to be able to adapt. You figure it out. If you can't figure it out, steal it. Go on the tape and watch it work for something else.
Mm-hmm.
You make it work. And I like to judge in this whole spiel about coming here and round pegs and squirrels and all this other shit. But he has to be sitting there and seeing what's going on with his offense. Get your ass in that room. Obviously, his defensive coordinator can handle his defense. They're good enough to sit back and zone, keep everything in front of them, and keep you in games. The offense needs all the attention right now, and it needs to change. It needs to change. And other than 5 or 6 real nice scripted plays that I'm seeing every week at Garrett, it's the same garbage. And defense, they know what's coming. It's way too easy for defenses. They can just sit and cover 2 and play that stupid stick play. What they do is they run 7-8 yards, whatever the sticks. They spread the field out and they all fucking curl, turn around.
Yeah,
it's just horrible. Go to that dude. The dude on he used to be an ex-quarterback for 49ers. He has a YouTube channel called The Quarterback School. He talks about it every show, how he hates that play. It's the worst call in football. He hates it with a passion. He's talking about defenses and he talks about that stick play. Every time he sees it on film, he loses his mind. It's just not good. And whatever Garrett's running here, it's not the Air Cordio. It's not. I get the receivers. They're struggling too. I get it. But Tate, do you think he's washed? Because he looks different this year.
Golden Tate. We know him for a couple of years. I just think that not necessarily washed. Football is. What's unfortunate about football? No matter how good you are, what's around you will have a big impact on what you can do on the field, no matter what happens.
I hear that.
Because Golden Tate has been nice for many years, and I definitely think that he can help us. But hey, if Daniel doesn't have the time to throw, or if our offensive line doesn't even hold up for him to get the ball. It's not gonna happen. So then my question to you is, do you think, honestly, do you think the offense Garrett is running is based on the skill set? Because as an offensive coordinator, I didn't think it was a bad idea for him to come here. I don't
I
like the
think
Cowboys,
I
but
think the offense to break it down to the most basic, simple form is he's created a one read system for Jones,
right,
and it's embarrassing because the talent is so bad that even the one read system he's created, the receivers and Evan Engram are so horrible that they can't get any separation or make anything happen on even just a simple one read plays. See, everybody's jumping on Daniel Jones about this. He's staring down his receivers. No, no. These stick plays, what you're doing is he's reading whoever's back in coverage in that zone on the defense, the linebacker or the safety or the corner. He's staring down that corner. If he goes to one receiver, he's supposed to go to the other one. So he's got two receivers in a read, and he's just
I
reading
noticed that.
the
Yep.
safety or the linebacker.
Right, because he
So
sees it coming.
most fans aren't going into. I couldn't afford the game pass this year. It's $100 a year, but I've been
Yeah.
going to Talking Giants and watching over there.
Mm.
So, the average fan is, they're getting all mad because Mark Schleyer said it one time, and this guy's a fucking idiot as an announcer. But it's a simple system, but it's so simple that it's simple for the defenses to sit on too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm just not seeing no adjustments because it's been 5 weeks now in a row of the same defenses he's facing. And honestly, it's reminding me a lot of Ben McAdoo. It's just he's got his system,
Right.
and damned what anybody does against it, this is what he's gonna run.
With that
There's
fucking remember that big ass shit McAdoo used to have, like the big ass the play card. I'm like, what the fuck are you reading on that shit that he's holding on the sideline? Because it's not working.
No, nothing's working.
It was like
play in a row.
double-sided.
Hey, it's another slant. Who would have thought?
You know? It's only curls, to be honest. Most of the times they'll either run a slant or a curl. Then it might be, I swear to you, not more than 5 to 10 yards. And that's another issue I have. Why don't we try the longer plays on second down? Because by third down, I feel like Jones feels like, all right, I got to make a play to keep my team in it because I don't want to get off the field.
Because no receivers are open and he's getting pressured. He's got to do something.
And they'll run, which what I think sometimes, especially early in the season, I don't know about later on because last week he had a big 49-yard run, and I don't think Philly wants to see that again. So you think sometimes they'll let him give up that play on purpose because they're not afraid of him? I talked about that maybe like 2 weeks ago in one of my videos where I feel like teams are not that afraid of him to throw the ball. So they're going to give him, sometimes they'll give him the short if it's there, or they'll give him the run. But even when I mentioned that, Ron Rivera didn't seem to think so because he thought that it was good enough to try and go for 2, whatever. But I still think that most teams are not afraid of Daniel Jones like that because I think the footage at this point, what are we, week 6 now, is out, right? Like it's kind of out.
There's no threat of them going deep on you. Right. They're not scared at all. There's no threat.
It's not there, which is easy to defend them because, like you said, if you just sit in cover 2, where are you going to throw the ball? You're going to throw it right by either the corner or somebody else. And Daniel Jones, he's gotten better, but my biggest worry is that somebody will get in his ear about the interceptions, or he'll start to get nervous and they'll get worse. Because
it's in his head.
Yeah,
it's
you
in
think
Daniel
so?
Jones' head.
He thinks about it. He thinks about it a lot.
Everybody talking, the turnovers, the coaches are teaching them to be scared. That's why I made a video earlier, I think today or yesterday, about Jason Garrett. He's coaching scared, and at this point, it's hit a point to where it's at a point to where he could actually do irreparable damage to Daniel Jones and the way he plays his game, and that's what I'm worried about. Because if you want to take a quick little glance over to the other team in New York, you're looking at what Adam Gase single-handedly did to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, no.
And that's a real possibility Jason Garrett could do this to Daniel Jones.
He had potential too, Darnold. I remember when Darnold first came out, I liked him. He wasn't bad. He wasn't bad when the first year. He wasn't bad. There's a couple of years.
He's terrified.
And DJ he's not gonna get that time, Like after the season, I'm telling you, I'm convinced, I'm scared that there's gonna be too many people who are gonna begin to doubt him. and they might move on. The problem is that we really don't have anybody else lined up after him. So the best thing that we can do, honestly, we got to use his legs. We got to do a draw play, maybe. Try to fucking mix it up sometimes, like.
The one thing I like about Daniel Jones is he is a football player.
Yeah,
He's not he's just not a quarterback. He's a football player. He wants to feel the contact. He likes it. So he's got a little bit of gunslinger in him, and everybody sits here and harps on about this. He's got no pocket awareness. First of all, it's gotten better. Second of all, go stand behind that fucking offensive line. His pocket awareness has improved.
It has.
But there is a part of that kid he's got the Eli Manning. He don't give a shit. And when he starts not giving a shit, it can become a problem. I can live with 8-10 fumbles a day if you're going to hit me 2 deep shots for touchdowns in a game.
I would like to see that. I would like to see
that. But if you're peaking at that pass rush, okay, you got better pocket awareness. But now you're going to take one of them big plays away. Is it worth it? So he's got to find the balance. He's got to find the balance in here. And I think he's a smart kid. If it was still Shermer in here, offensively, I'd be way more confident in him, finding his way through. With Jason Garrett, I don't know. At this point now, Daniel Jones is going to have the balls to stand and go, no, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. And as messed up a thing as that is, no, I'm not going through the progressions that Garrett says. He has to be more aggressive. He has to take it upon himself to look for that deeper stuff. But the problem is he's such a little, pleaser like Eli was, coach pleaser, that he's probably going to go along with whatever Garrett says.
He'll have to because he's not in that position. And Garrett, even with Dak, I think, I was looking at Dak before injury, and I was looking at the Cowboys, I was like, you know what? The Cowboys can go really far, but their problem sometimes is that they don't finish their games, or they wait way too long to come back into the game, and that is still a result of Garrett, because I think Dak Prescott is very good, but he's not great. He's very good. But I'm gonna make the comparison to, like, let's say, what's the ceiling for Daniel Jones? If Daniel Jones can get to what Dak is now, which is really not that far away, because the offensive line is just better for Dak. He has the time. But I think that what needs to happen is Jason Garrett needs to take a look at himself and realize, hey, listen, I got to help this kid out, give this kid a chance, because sometimes I feel like some of the plays, there's no way that we're going to make it to another first down. We're trying to run it. Sometimes we're trying to run it 2-3 times. We don't have Saquon, like, what do we have to lose? I know Devontae Freeman, he's helped us. He's helped us a lot. He's helped us when we needed the run game against the Washington. It was there, and who knows what it would have been with Saquon. Personally, I think Saquon would have tried to do too much anyway. And I said that. I was like, listen, I like Saquon, but you got to stop jumping over people, You got to stop doing that stuff, because it's going to get you. And unfortunately, it did. I've never been a fan of the running back being the
but you know what, though? I kind of disagree with that, because the play that he tore his ACL was just a standard run.
Yeah.
I get which I don't want him jumping people either. I'm 100% agreement there, but he twisted his leg a little bit in his ACL tour. That had to have been a little damaged, because he if you watch where he twisted his knee on that play, he wasn't even really hit.
Right, it was just
he kind of twisted to go out of bounds. It made it look like I think it tore before he was even grabbed.
Mm.
It looked worse because he was trying to protect his leg when he was going down on the ground. The defender. Listen, that's that turf. That's that shitty turf there, that stadium. That's what it tears ACLs all the time, because there's so much grip. And when you got legs as powerful as him, it grips, and you grip, man. You can tear anything anywhere.
They don't play on grass over there. I always thought that was strange. Like, it shouldn't be that hard to maintain.
Because they have so many concerts there and shit. The thing is, with all the COVID stuff, keep the turf, tear it out, put the grass in for football season, because they have so much other shit that goes on in there. They like the turf there. They don't have the grass is more expensive. But I mean, you're the owner of New York Giants. You shouldn't be worried about fucking money. Come on.
No, I mean, we haven't. It's the player safety, and a lot of these guys are getting hurt week after week, which is also a result of not being fit, I feel. And that's another thing with COVID. NBA seems to. We'll get to the NBA in a second, I guess. I mean, the NFL, like, what's going on here? The people. There's definitely people with COVID, and then they clear it, and then a couple of people have it, and they postpone the game. Or I'm not sure if the NFL really knows what the hell they're doing now, but they got to be careful, man, because I feel like they're forcing the season to continue. And there's a lot of guys. Look, the day that the 49ers were supposed to play and everybody got hurt, I'm looking at this like, this is a mixture between guys not really being able to practice, guys not really having the facilities to practice. If somebody tests positive, now you got to go isolate. Then they got to cancel one of the games. 2 weeks later, Cam comes back running around like, oh, I'm cleared of it. I'm not sure I'm understanding where they're trying to go with that, because this is where the injuries are coming from. I don't think guys are getting a real full practice anymore. I'm sure you can try to work it on your own, but every position they have position coaches, and they have their own training program that they need to follow. And just for NFL's sake, how many players on one team? Like over 60, maybe 50, 60? Like
I think the active roster is 53, and you got
50,
like so many people on the practice squad.
that's a lot of people, and
Well, ever since the players came together and got rid of the padded practices and the two-a-days and all that shit with the player union and went after the NFL for it, injuries have went way up since then. I mean, it's undeniable. And the more and more less they work out in the off season, which I get the older players don't want to do it, but it's just so good for the younger players. And it really does in the long run. You're gonna have more people get hurt in the off season, which really sucks. But if you get hurt in the off season, your money's guaranteed through the year. So they pop you on IR. It's no big deal for them to kick you couple million through the season. But throughout the season, you're going to see more and more injuries and less workouts that players get. It's weird it works that way. But, so I think last question I asked was Tate. And this system seems I think if Tate is not washed, he's hurt. And he's been hurt all year, because this system should be perfect for him, with him being a run after catch guy, short catch and run after, but he just doesn't look right to me. And I think the coach has seen it too. Being last week, I think he got 18 plays or something on the field. He hasn't been out there as much. So, I mean, I think because all right, so when Gettleman signed him, I don't know if this is true or not, but since he had that PD test or whatever, the steroid, he tested positive, I think all his guaranteed money is gonzo now. So if we cut him in the offseason, I think we can recoup all of his money. So I'm not sure, but here's another big question for wide receiver. Shepard, I mean, he's hurt again. Every year now. Every year. I mean, should we move on after the season? I mean, honestly,
hey, so Sterling Shepard, this is an interesting case. I asked you about this when we started bringing up the wide receiver, and I forgot because I went on a tangent about something else. But Sterling Shepard, right? You know what's funny about him? When the season started, right, they start listing Shepard as like the Giants' #1 receiver. And I'm sitting here like, are you serious? Sterling Shepard. The only reason Sterling Shepard is the #1 receiver because everybody else that was there before him is gone. So for me, if you are the #1 receiver, you are the guy with the most talent on the team, and you're not. Sterling Shepard.
I think as a route runner, he's the most talented guy.
He looked good because when Odell was there, if Odell took the pressure, then Sterling Shepard would get the ball. That's why he looked great.
He's got the best hands on the team, and he's by far the best route runner on the team.
I don't know. Sterling Shepard.
Now, if you want to talk speed, that's Slayton. If you want to talk run after catch, I mean, obviously Tate's got them all there.
Mm-hmm. He's like more of a #2, #3 to me.
He's gonna, but it would be such a help to have Shepard out there right now, because if you think he's a #1 or not, that's how defense is going to treat him, especially with Saquon. People don't realize the amount of attention that that's why Daniel Jones is so good down in the red zone last year. Go back and watch them plays. Every time Saquon came out that backfield and ran up anywhere in the end zone, you were seeing 2-3 people dropping right down on him. It was setting up one-on-ones, the receivers, every play down there in the red zone. And now they just get to sit back in coverage, not worried about nothing. But I just can't. Shepard's always hurt.
His toes,
he's always hurt. He's no good to us. He's just a wasted roster spot at this point.
turf toe. He got something like that.
That shit sucks, man. I've had that when I was younger. That's horrible.
Yeah, I never.
Yeah, it's horrible. It is horrible. You think you're you think you're never gonna be able to move your foot again.
How does that happen though? Just excess
You
running.
just jam your toe.
Uh,
Like, you ever get like a real bad jammed finger?
yeah.
You're playing basketball or something? Oh man, times that by about 50 on the toe, on the big toe. It's horrible. And the worst of all this is Evan Ingram. I mean, he's actually healthy so far this year. But I mean, there is no success in the system at all.
No,
nothing.
And that's the painful part about it. I don't care where you start. Something is just broken everywhere. So if we're trying to piece together, okay, we can do this. Well, we don't have a left tackle. Well, we don't have our quote-unquote number receiver. Well, we're working on Daniel Jones, but the offensive line coach, Jason Garrett, he's not really calling the right plays. And that's another thing. Now that we're talking about management, because like if we take that one further and we go to Joe Judge, there's a lot of talk, right? Mike McCarthy, he took the job in where is he now? Tampa? Where is he?
He's in Dallas.
Dallas, sorry. So he was supposed to be in the running for it, and Joe Judge apparently impressed everybody so much that
guy's horrible. McCarthy's horrible.
No, I'm not saying that I want him, but like my point is that, you know what I mean? Joe Judge is supposed to be this guy who he's got everything. He's got a whole battle rallying cry, and he sounds great. Like when we do interviews and stuff like that, he says he's a coach that says the right thing, and I'm sure in practice he does as well. But I'm expecting a little bit more from him. I feel like it's not where it needs to be. Some of these guys are not motivated, and some of these guys are just not playing at the level that they need to play. And unfortunately, it almost feels like we're fielding teams of creative characters. Like we're just throwing some bodies out there in hopes of that.
Well, I thought that's what this year was going to be, though. It was going to be an evaluation for a bunch of young players. I really kind of felt that's what the season was. See, I'm okay with the effort and everything guys are given, except for that San Francisco game. After that San Francisco game, I completely questioned everything. I was starting to question, the way he is with people. And listen, when you're that kind of coach, as long as you're winning, that's fine. Yeah, but let's see how the players keep going along with it if the losing keeps going this year. Because that's when it can get ugly when you're that kind of way. I got a feeling he's different on this. I think he's much more of a player's coach than he lets on.
Think so?
Yeah, I think he plays in the media a little bit.
I don't know.
So I don't want to make any judgments on unless I don't want to make any real big judgments on him this year unless the blocker room starts falling apart. Like right now, did you hear all this stuff coming out of Dallas about Mike McCarthy this and they're not happy?
Yeah, I don't like that stuff, man.
Aren't good, and they're not prepared. That's the kind of stuff we can go, uh-oh. You start hearing that. That's the kind of shit we were hearing with McAdoo. That kind of stuff starts coming out.
But you know what? I'm not a fan of that with the Dallas players, man. Like, because you guys, a lot of those players are not performing anyway. You can't talk like that because the tape is on you during the game, and they're missing a lot of tackles. They're missing assignments. There's a lot of effort things going on over there. That the tape is out on you. You can go back and if you watch the highlights, Mike McCarthy can't do anything about that. So for you guys to go unnamed and start talking about the coach like the tape is not out on you guys, that's weak, man. I think that's very weak.
I think there's definitely a valid point to that. There's also a point to players that have been in the league for 8 and 10 years. Let me tell you something. Coaches are learning every year. Even coaches that have been doing this 30, 40, 50 years. They're learning from the players too. It comes back, there's certain things that they're not there. They rely on their players to give them certain information. So listen, whether it's smoke or fire is all I'll say. I don't want to get too in depth. I was thinking about going in depth on it, but I'm not going to get too in depth on it right now. But I knew McCarthy was a problem because he's always been a bit of a manipulative person. If you paid attention to his career, even back with
Green Bay,
Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, he was always a little manipulative, especially with the media. I don't know. I haven't been watching his press conference. Maybe he said something that kind of twisted someone's tit or a few players the wrong way in the locker room, but that's not good when you're this early on. And that kind of stuff's coming out about your coach. That's not good.
Yeah. And they still got a chance, with who's their backup now? For his name. They got can't think of his name. Yeah.
They're trying. I don't know how much truth there is. I heard they're trying to make a trade for Sam Darnold right now.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, from the Jets.
Huh.
Jets are getting that number 1 pick. And even if they don't, which is I don't see any which way they don't get Lawrence, they're gonna take Justin Fields. Sam Darnold's shot, man.
So no Trevor Lawrence.
I just don't feel like that. Sam Darnold's got to go somewhere with a good offensive line because he's got the happy feet right now. He's got Baker Mayfield syndrome.
Baker, that's another thing. Oh man.
These dudes are running out of clean pockets because they're so tired. They've been hit so many damn times.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like, so to finish up on our guys, it's like, let's say you have Daniel Jones the way he is now. If he became Sam, I don't even think Daniel Jones would get the time, because nobody was a fan of the pick. Nobody was a fan of the pick. No, and maybe he would have been there later. He
Sports edit.
Yeah, he probably would have been. But the problem is now that he's our number 1 quarterback, so we got to find a way to help this kid out. And I don't think that the Giants are gonna give this kid more than the end of the year because I think it's gonna get a little bit uglier.
Daniel Jones talking about?
Yep.
How can we honestly though with this offense? First of all, this offensive line, even with Daniel Jones' mobility, is on pace to allow 52 sacks this year. Think back at how awful some of them Eli Manning years were. Yeah. And this dude was just a log. I love Eli Manning. I'm not going to bad talk him, but I'm going to bad talk the offensive lines he had at the end. Out of the worst year there, Eli Manning was sacked 45 times. Daniel Jones is on pace to be sacked 52 times with his mobility.
Yeah.
This is the worst offensive line. And honestly, I'm 35 or 36. This is the worst offensive line I've seen in my life. And a lot of it's just due to youth.
Hey, serious.
You can't do nothing about that. But can we get a proper evaluation? Because I know you're going to get most fans will be like, he's a fucking bum. He's a bust. Get him out of here. 17 games. Name me a quarterback who's got a worse situation.
Honestly,
in the NFL.
This team is bad.
The offense is bad. There's not one person on that offensive line that you can rely on right now. Even Kevin Zeitler, who's been a great player all his career, even this year, he's been giving up plays. Don't know what the hell it is.
It's contagious.
I mean, Cam Fleming has been the best line on our team.
It's just football. Football is a strange sport. That's why those who get accolades sometimes, like I know, and especially when it comes to the offensive line, because hardly ever do the other guys get mentioned, especially in football. If your offensive line is good, everything flows. That's why, you know how we have our game. Let's say our game is at 1 and the next game is at 4. It's like you see the difference if you watch us play and then you go look at Green Bay or you go look at Tampa Bay and I'm looking at their offensive line, or even when you look at the Chiefs, you're like, damn, that's like butter, man. Like you got all the time in the world you need. If you want, you could do a running play, you can do trick plays. But it's like, why did we allow it to get to this point? We should have been planning for life without Eli years ago. But I think Eli, a lot of people might not realize, Eli had a very heavy grip on Mara and everybody.
Well, Mara loved him. And I think all right, so 2016, I think the writing was on the wall. I don't like to go back. I don't like to go back too much. But I've never said this on my channel. So 2016, even though our defense was good, we had a all-time weak schedule that year, and we were barely squeaking out games. So even though we were, if there was no division thing, we would have been the number 2 seed that year, that playoffs, 2016. No, but since Cowboys were 13-3 or whatever that year, we had to play the wild card and all that shit and whatever. I'm not going to revisit all that, but the writing was on the wall with Eli that year. the regression had started. The age was there because he had all kinds of weapons. The offensive line was poor, but it was at least average.
Mm.
And he's just it was 2017 should have been Eli's last year. We should have brought in the replacement. There was rumblings about bringing in Mahomes or whatever, and they never brought anybody in. And then McAdoo benched him, which I thought was the right move because there was all this stupid hype about Davis Webb. Now, in hindsight, it's easy to say, all right, whatever. That was a horrible idea. But the
Yeah,
idea was they should have just went straight to Davis Webb. I think there would have been a lot less bullshit. But I think what happened is it gave Mara an out to bring Eli back when he saw how the fans acted when Eli got benched. It pissed everybody off. But it wasn't even, I mean, obviously people are going to be pissed off when you're watching your two-time Super Bowl MVP
of course.
player that we all love get benched and his career over. We're all thinking that's the last time we're going to see him. Yeah, you're pissed off. But I think if they would have just wheeled out Davis Webb, it wouldn't have been, that would have been it. We would have never seen Eli again. Davis Webb would have played out the season and said, nah, we got to draft somebody. And it'd be done. But no, Mara has allowed the fans too much. He's listened to the fans way too much, and you
Mm.
can't do that in this business. That's what teams like the Bengals and Browns do. Their owners listen to the noise of their fans. You can't, because if you listen to these fans, you're going to have a new quarterback every year. You're going to be tearing your teeth down every
Yeah.
2 years because they're half these fucking people are drunk and punching holes in their wall after every game they lose. They don't want to hear rebuild. There is no rebuild. It's win, and they put their ego in it. Not team that kicked your ass. They look like an asshole. Then they take out even more of their anger on the team. I fucking look like a fucking idiot. Made a bet. Whatever.
Mm.
Whatever. You know how fans are. You know how people are. They put ego behind everything, which makes no sense to me at all.
Mm.
I think rationally about it all. This is the second year of our rebuild. People say, yeah, but we've been losing for 5 years. That has nothing to do when we started a rebuild.
Mm-hmm. We
You
weren't in
can't
rebuild
take you
mode.
can't take out all the years. You can't take out all the anger from the losing from the last 5 years and put it on these new young players. You can't do that. That's not fair, and that's not how you build a winning team for the future. You have to put them out there, be patient, give them the right pieces, and when you have the right pieces around them, then you see if they're the answer or not. Is it worth building on more and more? Going 0-16 every year and drafting a new hotshot quarterback, that ain't going to get you nowhere unless you build something tangible around them. And you know what, Daniel Jones? Listen, you draft 10 quarterbacks, maybe 2 or 3 of them turn out to be the guy, right?
Yeah.
So you could say this guy ain't the guy. I mean, you're going to be right 7 out of 10 times. But if you're patient and you got these quarterbacks on rookie contracts, you got all this fucking money for pieces, and then you put your team in place. If he's not the guy, then you send in some trade assets and get yourself another guy. And when the new guy comes in, your process of evaluation goes so much faster. You've set yourself up so much better to get yourself a young quarterback that's going to be the guy for you in there.
Mm-hmm.
But just if you're going to be picking top 5 every year and you're taking a quarterback every year, you're never going to build nothing. You're never going to get there. I know nobody wants the patience. We're all sick of losing.
Yeah, no, it's
And
many years.
we have owners that are listening to these casual fans, and fans punching holes in their walls. And this is what we've gotten. This is what we get.
I didn't expect it to be that bad, but you have to be realistic from where we came. You know, like I'm optimistic every year. Every year I think we can make the playoffs. Even when our team is horrible. I try to be as optimistic as I possibly can. But of course, reality will hit you quick once you start playing some games, and then you see what we are. And like you said, so then from going forward here, how do we build? So my thought was that, okay, on the one hand we lose a lot, but sometimes outside of the game, you can build a lot between the guys, in practice and learning different plays, learning different things. And I think that's valuable also. So you got to remember that, like you said, if we don't sign anybody to heavy contracts, when we do make the trigger, we can actually sign players that can help us. Now, in hindsight, could you have said, "Oh, we could have gone from Mahomes," and this and that? Hindsight is always 2020.
You can always do that. Every year you could do that. You could pluck out a good player that way in the
Yeah,
second round or
I
something.
mean, it's not. It's you can't really build a team in hindsight. So you got to do what we got. I say, listen, you got to give Daniel Jones a chance because we're gonna listen. Football, you need the right guys. If you don't have the right guys, it doesn't matter what you do, especially offensively, because your offensive line will give you a chance to win the game if your defensive is decent. Even though they say defense wins championship, but look, what you know what Ron Rivera could have done? Ron Rivera could have easily just not go for two, and I guarantee you he would have gotten the ball back, but he was trying to outsmart himself. But he would have gotten the ball back, knowing what
it was an ego move for sure.
Yeah, right. It was arrogant. Knowing what we know, we watch our Giants every week. I said, oh shit, if he just goes for one, let the Giants try and score, he's gonna get the ball back and he'll win.
They're going to get a chance because at most we're getting a field goal. At the most, we ain't getting a touchdown.
We haven't. It didn't even make sense to me because how many touchdowns have we even scored? I think that game was the first game. Was it?
That we scored passing touchdown. Yeah, I think we had a rushing touchdown a couple of weeks before.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. You know, I'm just looking at this. I said, wow.
It's very stupid. And you're right there. You can't take a loss. Even a tie would have been good. If both of them kick a couple field goals and overtime, time runs out. In this division, that's not a bad thing. But I think, I can't remember. I heard it. And I thought after the game, was like, that's just so stupid. It was an ego thing. He's feeling himself right there a little too much.
He went for it on fourth down. He said, "You know what, guys? We're gonna bring it home." I said, "You are a fool, man."
That was stupid. I mean, I thought we were gonna lose the game, but at the same time,
I did too.
It's stupid. It's very stupid, especially when you know what the Giants' offense is.
You know, it's gonna be rough. But
hey, if it was 10 years ago or whatever, and it was a sudden death overtime, completely with it, completely with them on it, because we're capable of going down the field and getting a field goal. We just can't get within the 10. We can't get in the end zone for some reason.
They found a way to extend football that way, though, because it was heartbreaking, man. If you scored first, you won. That was heartbreaking, man. Like, at least you got a chance now if you do a field goal to.
Yeah, it is better. It took me a while to say that. I was a little pissed off. You just get used to certain things, you know, because it's like, you know, if the toss used to mean so much in them games. Like, fuck yeah, we won the toss. It's over, man.
If you get
We're
the ball,
win this shit.
Hell yeah.
And I thought it was a little unfair in that Dallas game too. The criticism on Daniel Jones about, well, he's not the guy. He didn't go down. Everybody made it sound like Eli Manning went down the field every game-winning situation. Eli came through. And again, I'm not trying to be messed up towards Eli, but I can remember at least 20 games where Eli threw a pick and the first 3 plays on a drive to go down to win the game.
Yeah,
it's just like we need to stop doing that with all our players nowadays. So especially, we can't bring in this old nostalgia that we have for other players and put it on these young guys. These are guys out here just learning. And we can't do that. We can't put these unrealistic expectations, especially like holding their standards up to Eli Manning, which is by far the best quarterback in our history.
Right.
We can't do that to a kid who's in his 17th game on a bad team with a horrible offensive line and one real weapon as a wide receiver. We can't do that's just so unfair. We can't do it. And if people want to say, like, I'm making excuses or whatever, so be it. At the end of the day, you want to call it an excuse? I call it reality. If you want to live in something else other than that, that's fine. Go and be miserable. But I feel like I've set up reasonable expectations. I feel maybe 1 out of 3 times Daniel Jones goes down to get us a field goal there. It just happened to be 1 of the 2 out of the 3 times that you don't.
It didn't happen.
Because I guarantee if you would pull up something from Eli Manning's career, if he's in that situation, about 40-45% of the time, he's going to get the field goal.
No, I definitely agree with that.
Outside of a couple of years, if you're talking 2011, he's going to get that field because that year was absurd. Man. That year was absurd. He had like 20 freaking touchdowns in the fourth quarter and 18 freaking fourth quarter comebacks or something. It was ridiculous that one year.
I remember one year it was the ESPN New York radio headline. We finally made the playoffs again, right? And like and everybody's talking about Eli Manning. Eli Manning, he has no conscience, he's fearless, and we got smoked. We got smoked. And after I forgot we played that year. It was the first year that we made it back into the playoffs. So what year would that have been?
2016.
2016. Yeah, he's fearless. He has no conscience.
He did play good in that game, though.
He
The
did,
rest of the team let him down.
But you know what it is? Us as New Yorkers, we hold on so much to the guys that brought us success to our city because overall, we don't have it.
It's just nostalgia. This is nostalgia of the past. We can't do that as fun as it is, because sometimes it actually happens. You're like, oh my God, this is real. We're talking this damn thing into existence.
Yeah, it's the same with the Knicks. I'm in this group now with the Knicks fans, and you got guys posting stuff from like 1990. I'm like, listen, bro, like you gotta, and you know what?
You're a Knicks fan?
Yes, I am.
Oh, dude, we used to be so good back in the 90s. Trail Sprewell, Larry Johnson. Oh, my God. Them teams were so good.
I can only dream. Something. It's sad, but I'll tell you. Sometimes I have dreams that we're in the NBA Finals and we win the championship. I swear to you. Sometimes I have dreams about that stuff.
Listen. I think we're close. I think this is. I think that if the Knicks play it smart and keep growing these young players. See, I was out on Frank. And then I saw there's this guy on YouTube, like Hebrew something. He does, but he pulled up like all the advanced stats from Marcus Smart's like first 3 years. And Frank Ntilikina was just a little bit better in everything. And it kind of surprised me. And it really made me rethink. I went back and rewatched some games. And I feel it's just like more of a confidence thing with him. But I think he's a piece. I can't believe it's coming on now. I think Frank Ntilikina is a piece, dude. Like a legit, not saying a star or anything, but he is a piece to come off the bench, and you can put him on somebody in a spot to get you some stops. And
always good. Yeah,
I think he sees the floor good enough, and he'll get better. He's just a scrappy dude. Like I like Ntilikina. I hated him for like the first 2-3 years here. I was actually starting to like him. And it took me a real wise older Knicks fan. I like some of these older sports people, man. They give you knowledge that you can't.
Yeah,
no. Listen to some of our older folks out here.
They'll let you know. They'll quick to let you know. Quick to let you know about Starks. Quick to let you know about Larry Johnson.
Like Marcus Robinson, he's a piece. One thing that aggravates about him is he's got to stop at the fouls, man.
Who, Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah, like he comes in and just gets like 4 quick fouls. Like, well, there goes that.
Yeah, no, he's it's weird because you see what they're trying to do, and so part of them they're like, okay, we're finally in a good position again. We're kind of in the position Boston was in. Remember when Boston had all those picks and like, oh, what are you gonna do with all those picks? And look how that turned out.
They picked them.
Just like that. The whole franchise turned around. Probably second, third best team in the East. Right, and I'm looking at the Knicks like we can do it. There are so many players that would honestly want to play here and become great because if you play well, like granted, look what happened with Carmelo. Carmelo Anthony, he almost had a team. He got unlucky with Stoudemire getting hurt. But Carmelo Anthony, he was a guy. He could have.
Stoudemire was hurt even before he got here. It just progressively got worse. Nobody would take him on. Nobody would give him that big. We were the only one to give him that big contract. It was worth it for a few years.
Yeah. But you know what it is? Melo didn't know that. And Melo was supposed to be part of the team of LeBron Wade when LeBron went to Miami. So Melo was supposed to be a part of that. But
Melo was a maniac. He wanted New York, bro. He wanted it.
He would have been amazing. I still love him to this day for that. But
I love him too.
It's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And this fucking James Dolan. James Dolan had a big role to play in all these years of mediocrity. It wasn't until like recently that he's decided to take a step back. I don't know what happened.
James Dolan needs to. I'm glad he did step back because he had the wrong mindset with the big free agents. All that. Listen, nobody's gonna come here. First of all, Melo's a maniac. He's the only ever superstar that wanted to come here. Until we can build up some young players and get the foundation of a good young team, no superstar is going to come here. And why should they?
We only
What do we do? We get a few young pieces. We traded all the way for an old star. We gotta stop doing that shit, man.
yeah
Now I'm starting to hear the same stuff. Now I'm hearing Chris Paul. Get the fuck! Don't bring this guy over here, 40-year-old man.
yeah
Trade all our pieces away. And again, just within the Giants fans, Knicks fans are so impatient with these players. Not everybody's LeBron fucking James. They don't come into the NBA and they're just excellent. Some players take 2, 3, 4 years. These are young kids. They're not coming in like they used to back in the day, 23, 24. These kids are coming in 18, 19 years old. You got to give them time. Their body ain't even filled out. First of all, these guys, there's so much that goes into it. How much their body is going to progress and mature, if they're actually going to put in the time, you know what I mean, to work on their shot and all that. But that's where you need good upper management to bring in the right teachers, you know what I mean, the right coaches, get these players to be doing what they need to do. And I'm not sure about Thibodeau. Everybody's got their prejudgment on the guy. Hey, as long as he ain't part of like coming in here and trying to trade away for like Derrick Rose or some shit, I'm fine. I'm fine with him. Just take the talent we got, grab a bunch of young players, get Julius Randle the fuck out of here, not for Chris Paul, and package a bunch of picks with him. Let him stay the fuck over there. Get Julius. If you want to trade Julius Randle, get us a good stretch four, get us a good shooting 2 guard or something, and a couple picks, and I'm happy. Because if I gotta watch this fucking asshole spin and lose the ball, the spin over one more time,
turnover machine.
He'd be a good. Listen, I know Knicks fans are all over him saying he's a horrible player and all that. He's not. He's an okay player. But he'd be a lot better on a team with a couple superstars. This ain't the team for him.
It's different when you play from that perspective, though, and we can both relate Giants and Knicks. Like we said in the beginning, you know what it is. When you don't win, everything changes. When you don't win, when you're not a winning franchise, you gotta play better. You gotta be at least twice as good every night than you maybe like running the motions, because once your team goes down 10 or your team goes down 14, what are you gonna do? And I've seen that year after year for the Knicks, more so, that we do not play bad the first 2 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
It's that third quarter. It's that third quarter, third and fourth quarter. I don't know what happens, but they just lose the game. And then
I don't know if it's an effort thing or what. Listen, if you ain't got the talent, you got to outwork your man. That's what it is.
I don't get that, because the guys are pros. You guys are honestly talented basketball players. You see guys that are on a team, they go on different teams and they start playing great. So what is it with New York that we can't get a solid team together? And look, I've been working very hard on making these draft videos. I'm looking at all these draft picks, and it's great. We got potential young talent coming in, but there's a difference between you playing for Kentucky, John Calipari, everything flows, and you coming to New York. Now you're in the NBA where the ball is not going to move like that. You got to understand that we do have a kid in RJ Barrett who he's tough, man. Some of the quotes that I hear about him, he seems to be wanting to embrace this challenge of trying to make us a better team. And it is frustrating as a fan. And you look at other teams in the league. I don't know if they got lucky or not. Look, the Dallas Mavericks were horrible. They got Luka. All of a sudden, they're amazing.
They had the structure in place. They drafted their players and they kept them and they worked on them. And once you got a good team, that all of a sudden, superstar, a good star is eyeballing them. Like, maybe with my talent, we could do something over there. At least get in the playoffs and make a run. But when every 6, 7 years you're taking all your young players you've been drafted and just trading them for one colossal asshole who's overaged and overpriced, that's what you got to build. And I guess maybe it's amplified because it's the New York market. When you're bad, it's just amplified. But even Boston, they weren't after KG and all that left. They struggled. They had to rebuild,
and they did.
You obviously got a hit. You got a hit on some of your picks. You don't have to be 100% on them, But even you grab some late first rounders, you got to hit on them. They got to be role players. I mean, you got to hit on some role players. I think RJ's a piece now. What are we 8 this year? If we can grab a player in a couple of years who turns out to be good, a top 25 player, then all of a sudden in a couple of years, and some of these guys, I'm not done on Cat. I know a lot of people are like Kevin Knox, whatever.
He's probably gone.
Listen, you don't know. He can come out next year and all of a sudden his shot's a lot better. He's popping. You know what I mean? He's progressed a little. So you're like, all right, hey, we got a piece to come off the bench. RJ turns out to be a 20-point guy tonight. You never know. We get a decent young point guard in here. We get a nice stretch four. I thought Bobby Portis would be okay. He hasn't turned out to be what I thought he would, but get him minutes. Get him minutes. You never know. I mean, it's just if you got a few good pieces and then you got the right role players for your system, and you get that lunch pail mentality in these kids. You get the right coach to do it. I don't know. Thibodeau did it in Chicago. I don't know. It might be a dream now. That was 20 years ago, it feels like.
Everything feels like a long time ago when we talk about New York sports. From like successful years when we're talking actual like quality games, like from every sport that we've seen to play, and it's like I want the Knicks to be successful so bad, but it's going to take time. And Thibodeau can come in here and he can preach defense, which is what he seems to be pretty good at. But if you don't get the time from New York, man, it's a tough place to be.
You got to give him the time, unless he loses the players. You know what I mean? I completely not giving them. If they're done with it, you'll know they'll lose all effort. You got to give him the time, and you got to give these young kids the time. We got what? We got like 3 or 4 picks this year in the draft.
We got at least three picks, I believe. And
all right. Now, trade, what's his there? Spin turnover boy, Randall. And get yourself 2 more picks in this draft. Build it. It's right there. I don't know. Knicks fans lost their mind a long damn time ago. They all want Chris Paul and shit like that right now. It's a pipe dream.
Like it's like 2008 or something. I don't know what's going on here.
But one thing realistic this year, what do you think about Fred VanVleet? He'd be a nice little, maybe we gave him 15, 20 million or something on a couple-year deal. What do you think about him? He'd help the young guys come along a little bit quicker.
Fred VanVleet is a nice backup point guard.
He'd be a nice piece, don't you think? He's decent at 3.
He's decent, but the only problem for me is that, it's a total different game when you're actually be on the forefront, Like when he was that Toronto team that won the championship, they were very good. They were very good all around. And sometimes when you're a guy like VanVleet, like they're asking him to make plays, and that's what he was doing. But I don't know if I can sell that on him. Like seriously, he would be one of the leaders on our team now. I don't know if I'm sold on that. I'd rather go with a younger guy that we draft and build him than trying to pay VanVleet that.
Well, the reason why I like VanVleet is I don't think he's going to be not even close to like a max player. I think you can get him for like 15, 18 million on a couple-year deal or something.
Like a 3-year deal?
3-year deal or something, right? Which ain't going to kill your cap. And I feel like he don't have to be a ball. You know what I mean? The ball don't have to be in his hand.
No, he doesn't mind making a play. I know that.
He's decent at 3. I think he'd be just fine with RJ holding on to the ball. You know what I mean? He could just hang around the 3 line. And I just feel like he's a scrappy. He's younger too. How old is he? He's not that old.
He has to be like maybe 27. I'm bad at predicting basketball players' ages because you never know how old they are. VanVleet, let's see. Because I know when he was going for there's a song called VanVleet. Doesn't help.
Because he's one of the only free agents I'm interested in. I don't mind Bogdanovich there. I wouldn't mind him coming in. I think that would be a solid little piece for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to get a stretch forward. Maybe Gallinari comes back. That wouldn't be half so bad.
No, man. I don't want Gallinari anymore.
No, I feel like, just keep him coming back on a 1-year deal. He was okay last year. He wasn't bad.
Yeah, he's 20.
And that's where we fucked up in the Melo trade. If Melo would have just lasted 1 more year, if he would just stayed in Denver 1 more year, we could have kept all our pieces and just signed Melo as a free agent. Why?
But he forced
Why
his
did
way
to
out.
force his way here and we had to lose all our pieces with it? That's the shit I'm talking about with the Knicks.
And we pulled the trigger. Like, oh, okay.
Tell Melo, no, wait. Melo, wait, no, wait. You're going to be here. We're going to have so much more around you. Just wait.
It's just, and that's what, honestly, at that time, I wouldn't say now, because in the last 3 years or so, 3-4 years, we haven't even done it. That was the Knicks. Let's try and be the best team it is as fast as possible. Melo, superstar, okay, because he has the talent, but he needed maybe at least another guy or two, and then we would have challenged for a couple of years. If we would have played it the right way, it would have worked out a long time ago. It's unacceptable, really, and that goes for the Giants too. It's unacceptable to not have a team figured out after all this time. That's what bothers me the most. That's what bothers me the most, because it's not like you guys can project 4 or 5 years from now where you want to be, no matter who the coach is. But
Right.
to go this long without having something that you can say from, all right, you know what? We moved on from Eli. We moved on from Melo. Well, the Knicks are starting to now. But, like, listen, the last time that they were good was in the 90s. We're in 2020.
Well, we
Yeah.
had a couple of years in Melo here.
We had the year where we had all those older guys like Rasheed Wallace, Jason Kidd, Melo. It was the weirdest team I've ever seen in my
Hey,
life.
Kid was good. Kid was even then. Kid was good coming off the bench for us.
He was.
That
No,
kid
he-
was a good little spark. Remember that one year we were just beating the shit out of Miami. We were beating
Yeah.
Miami every game.
We were good that one year, but even that, we knew after that season was over, it was done.
That was it because
Yeah.
Stoudemire was cooked. His
Yeah.
knees were gone, so we knew it was done.
Yeah, funny
We
story
had
about
Tyson
Stoudemire.
Chandler. We brought Tyson. That was a nice little move too back then, bringing in Tyson
Oh
Chandler.
yeah, no, I like Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler was tough, man. He was a tough dude. He didn't take no shit from anybody.
He ain't what it used to be, but he was pretty good back then.
No.
What his role was.
Yeah, he and stuff like that. I like stuff like that too. If we had like a little bit more grit now, we could have built some toughness, get back to like what the old teams were.
Listen,
that alone.
even in the '90s, we were never the most talented team back then.
No, but
you weren't going to outwork them Knicks. You weren't going to come in and you weren't going to out physical them. It wasn't going to happen.
And then that's the thing, like you don't got to be the best team, but if you can be like, look, what Jimmy Butler is doing, I was like, man, I wish we had a guy like him on our team, because he would inspire others to raise their game. And that's another thing too. How can some of these guys raise their game? Who is going to tell them to raise their game to get to a point where, okay, we're not the most talented, but we're scrappy and we're fighting and we're staying into the game, and all of a sudden somebody just hits a big shot that helps us win the game. Like it's these little things that, if you want to be successful, and that's what I don't understand with Dolan, because yeah, this team will be profitable no matter what they do. But if you really cared about making money, you would make sure that this team would have been good a long time ago. Like it shouldn't be that instead of focusing on the players, we have to hear about stories about James Dolan for years. James Dolan comes out and he's making like music, or the thing with
he's interested in the business side. I think it took him a while to realize that you can't pitch business to these players. You need a different pitch than that.
Like, can you imagine being Kevin Durant and well, he didn't meet with us, but if he did, and
that's
what
not what
do
I
you have
heard.
to tell him?
That's not what I heard. They didn't meet, but I heard there was discussions with his agent.
Yeah, but Kevin Durant was never.
I heard the Knicks got first choice, but with the injury, they didn't want to take it. That's what I heard. We got first choice at it, and they didn't want to take him. I didn't want to take that on either. I want to build something that's our own.
Yeah, that's why I stayed away.
I don't want Kyrie. Kyrie Irving's a fucking head case. I can't take some dude like him. I don't like him.
Hey, listen, man. Kyrie Irving, one day he can give you 50 points. The next day, you don't want to play basketball anymore. Literally,
he's a head case.
You don't know him. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on with him? Like, he'll just start saying random things. He's like, yo, Kyrie, please, just stop talking, bro. Just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. He's going to turn in. Something's going to happen with that guy. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Think about how many times this guy thinks the Earth is flat. Think about how many times he's been in an airplane. This is the guy we want to bring in here. This dude's been on an airplane thousands of times. He's literally seen the shape of the Earth. This motherfucker lands and says the Earth is flat. Come on.
They can make millions that don't make them geniuses. It's like you got him caught playing basketball. I tell you that you got to for playing basketball. Just play basketball. That's all you got to do. We're not asking you to be a teacher. You know, that's one thing. That's for sure. You know?
He wrecked that whole thing in Boston. He ruined that whole situation.
Yeah, it's an ego thing because he thought that he didn't get the credit with LeBron.
Hey, listen, bro. If you're not a leader, you're not a leader,
and
that's fine. And that's fine.
That's
fine.
You can hit the shot, but you know who got you there. Like and that's LeBron James.
So where are you on the LeBron GOAT thing? I gotta do it. I gotta go like ESPN, Fox News on this. Get big.
LeBron GOAT. So I think at this moment he's probably the second best player to ever play the game.
I don't even think he's close to that.
You don't even think he's second? You think he's like fourth? Because
I don't think any player from this era you could put in like top 10.
Really?
Just because of the way the basketball is played, and that's unfair.
It's different. It's different. You offensively, it's so much easier than what it used to be.
Just so you know, I think Michael Jordan's like right around the number 10 spot. I don't think he's even close to the GOAT.
Really?
He was a great defender, but he was on a stacked ass team. And I'm a little bit older, so I remember the way NBA was with him. They forced Michael Jordan as a superstar on everybody, whether they liked it or not. The NBA was going to push that little song.
Because listen, I'll be honest with you. It's too hard for me to go one through from 2 down. You could put anybody there you want, from Kobe to Bill Russell to Kareem to Mac. I can't
Kobe,
do it.
But I listen. Shaq was my man. He forced. He was a little too ego for me.
Who, Kobe?
He forced my man Shaq out of town, so I kind of had a little something for him.
Kobe was different though. Like a lot of those guys are from that era too. He's kind of from the old club too, Kobe. Even though it was a different generation, you know what it is with a lot of guys. Listen, fair enough. I've never heard anybody say that he would be out of the top 10, but fair enough. You've seen the age more than I've seen. I always say that. Listen, it's different when you see a sporting event and it's happening then, and you're watching it. So I'm a little bit younger than you. So I was born in 94. So most of the stuff that I seen that I can remember seeing was after it was all done, So of course I'm going to go by what the myth is and what I've been seeing, whatever, if it's The Last Dance or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it'd be hard for me to even go past number 2 because I think that you can't. How are you going to, based on what? On my channel, I've never been big on stats. I've never been
shit to me.
Because depending on where you are, it makes a big difference how well your stat. If you play football, if you're a receiver, if you play on the 49ers in like the 90s and the 80s and all that shit, you don't think your stats are going to look better instead of you play for Buffalo or whatever?
Absolutely.
It's totally so. I never believed in that.
I don't think Tom Brady's the best quarterback to ever live. So I catch a lot of shit for my opinions.
No, but to be honest with you, I can never go past 1 or 2 in basketball. How? It's because if you're rating it by rings, then Robert Horry would be one of the best players with Bill Russell.
Bill Russell at 11. He'd be the GOAT.
And
the thing is, everybody says Bill Russell's better than Wilt Chamberlain. What are you out of your fucking mind? Go back and look at the numbers that Wilt was putting up. What?
Yeah,
but it's not even close. Wilt was twice the player of Bill Russell. Let's get rid. But people overvalue these championships. Listen, if it's fucking tennis, I'm with you. But there's more than one player on the court. Jordan was on an absolutely stacked team, the best defensive team ever. And the thing I can't do is They're shooting guards, man. They're shooting guards. They can't go up against unless the other team's best player is a shooting guard. They're not defending the best players. You know what I mean? Back in the day, the big guys where it was at. I'm telling you, the big guys are the best players out there.
But it's different now. It's
Kareem, Magic Johnson, he was all right, but he was like the first person to really start to do it with style, his passing. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was big for I don't know. I just like the big guys, man. Give me give me Kareem. You know what I mean? Fuck Jordan. Give me Kareem. But it's different nowadays. They're all lobbing up threes. So, yeah. Hey, if you wanted to take them guys, Jordan nowadays, he'd be a killer because he'd be James Harden. You know what I mean? But so Jordan was on a stacked team. He took off the baseball. They won almost 70 games.
which I
They
think
were
was a
one
big
game away
mistake.
from going to the championship
Yeah,
again.
no, and that was on Scotty. That was on Scotty because Scotty
Scotty
didn't
was a
really.
hell of a player, and it's so disrespectful.
Yeah, and he
Way
never gets
players.
the respect.
All them guys, Alvin Harper, Dennis Rodman, all them guys on that team were amazing.
Yeah,
And they had great 3-point shooters. Will Purdue, Steve Kerr. Just the whole team was stacked.
yeah,
Stacked. They had Horace Grant over there for a while in the early
yeah.
90s.
He was good too. He would have won another one with Shaq.
Charles Oakley was up over in there.
Yeah,
But listen, Jordan's. I can't as a scorer. You got to put him up there. He's one of the best scorers. But if you're gonna say player, like first of all, I think you got to pick the era.
right. You
Pick
can't
the era.
different era
And I'll give you a
from the
different
80s, right? 80s, 90s,
80s,
early
90s.
2000s.
I'm taking Kareem, man. Give me Kareem. Give me Will. Give me Shaq. That's who I'm taking.
So then, who would you take now?
I'm still that. If it was only for a season, I'm taking Shaq, bro. That guy was unstoppable in his prime. I'm a little too young to know about Will, but I don't know. I just think Shaq would have still overpowered him.
No, I agree on that. But there's no point. But the one thing I don't like for LeBron now, because I was never really high on LeBron. If you go back to like my old videos, I used to start doing YouTube like 2 years ago before I took a break to go back to school. Like I never was a fan of LeBron. But until like this one, I was like, you know what? It's not fair. You're saying that Jordan is the best player to ever play.
And you can't compare them. They're different positions. They're two different styles. They're two different. You can't compare them.
I mean, is he more clutch? Probably, but he's a better shooter regardless. LeBron James has never really been a good
Michael Jordan took way more shots.
Right?
LeBron James.
He's just a better shooter. Better shooter is going to have a better chance to.
No. Jordan was a better mid-range shooter. I will say that. I think LeBron's got him on the three. Yeah. But they shoot a lot more threes nowadays, so I imagine he worked on it a lot more than Jordan did. Jordan could hit threes too, just he wasn't that great. I think he was like a little over 30%. And think LeBron's probably like what, 37, 38 at the three or something?
Maybe, but still, it's there's guys here like Steph Curry shooting like damn.
If you put Jordan, if you put LeBron back in the 90s era when they won all the championships, Jordan ain't gonna D him up. He might jump a passing lane. Guess who's going to be sitting on LeBron's ass? Old Mr. Scottie Pippen is going to be the one D'ing up LeBron.
There were some big boys.
Scottie was long and he was good. I think Scottie Pippen was a better defensive player.
No, he doesn't get the respect though. Every once in a while, I go back to watch one of my favorite videos of Pippen. I remember I saw the clip. Pippen waited on half court. He came and he picked him up in his chest. From half court all the way back to his own.
That's what they did, man.
I was like, that is ridiculous. And this was a regular season game. You barely see defense nowadays, to be honest, because they know that Kobe said this best. When you get to the NBA nowadays, it's not that hard. And I was like, you know what? I will never be an NBA player, but I can understand what Kobe was saying. It's not that hard. Like if you're an offensive player to play in the NBA now, hell no. It's not.
You can't touch him. You can't touch him.
You can go for fouls now. I hate that call, by the way. You can do this kind of, and then if the defensive player's arm touches your arm, it's a foul.
Listen, that foul shit started about halfway through Jordan's career, and I've seen it, man. He would get calls. Nobody even touch him. He'd get a call. Like what? What's this shit?
Jordan rules.
And that was actually for a while back when I was a kid, a real talk about how Jordan gets calls that nobody else gets. And he did. He got foul calls that nobody else got because at the time you were starting to see a lot of the older players leaving the NBA. And at the time, NBA was like, oh man, who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? Who do we got? Well, right there. That's going to be our guy. You know what I mean? That's going to be our face. That's something NBA has always done is they've always made sure they had whether it's fair or not, you know what I mean? He's still a great player, obviously. But if you go back and watch all them super team, the way they talk to each other, even the players would used to bust Jordan's balls about that. Yeah, you get all the calls, blowing whistles at him and shit.
Yeah.
Because he did. He got on there. There was bias, man. There was definitely a bias. And it kind of took some of the flavor out of it for me, man. I don't like that. No, I want to see it be the same for everybody. No unfair treatment. Fuck all that.
No, but that's how it usually. And the NBA, they're smart in that because I said one of the reasons why I said that LeBron probably won't win another one. We'll probably win one more, but then he won't after that because the next guy is Giannis or Luca. They're gonna try, and it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to transition to international type player because the NBA is smart. They got to make money off somebody, and I think that for what it's worth, Giannis, if he goes to LA or he goes to Golden State, or we don't know, but there always is another guy up there, and there could have been other guys such as James Harden or Westbrook, but Harden is going to be who he is. He's always going to score, but you are probably one of the most. And I'm not saying stat wise. I'm just saying like the eye test from what I see. You are probably one of the most inefficient high volume scorers I have ever seen in NBA history because it's not just that he gets his point from free throws, right? If you see the way James Harden plays, one of the reasons why he can't win games towards the end because he expends all his energy trying to do all this ridiculous stuff instead of just flowing with the offense that he has. And he's playing in a system with D'Antoni when he was playing with D'Antoni that allowed him to do that. And that's where you go wrong all the time now in the NBA. That's the reason why certain teams get where they get. The Golden State Warriors were one of, to be honest, when we look back at our era, it will be one of the best teams to
That's
ever
it. That's the best team I've ever seen in my life, other than the Jordan's Bulls.
Yeah.
With Kevin Durant there, Steph and Clay. Yeah.
They were real. That was like natural. That was built. It was a lot of things were beautiful about it. It was built. It was real. It doesn't matter if KD can do whatever the hell he wants because at the end of the day, the one thing that nobody ever says about Jordan, and I'm gonna say it right here, I don't care. Jordan definitely hides behind the ring shit though. He hides behind that because there are some players that can definitely challenge him. But
Jordan didn't not win until all the greats of that era got old. And it's the truth, and nobody wants to hear it. Everybody tries to spin it. However, go watch him. Skip Bayless. That dude tries to spin shit so hard. It's ridiculous. He wasn't beating them Celtics in their prime. Shit, he couldn't beat the Pistons. They were trash. They just threw people around.
Yeah, no, the Pistons were giving them a hard time until that one year, and then he finally beat them, and then he went on.
And if he made it through them Pistons, good luck with them Celtics teams at the time. He wasn't beating them. Listen, he had a great team. There's nothing wrong with it. He's still a great player. But this whole labeling, like the myth and labeling warrior, he's a fucking shooting guard. I'm sorry, he's a shooting guard. They're all great scorers. Look at James Harden. To this day, like the closest thing I've seen to Michael Jordan is Russell Westbrook. That's the closest thing I've seen to Michael Jordan.
Really?
Yeah, give Russell Westbrook a little bit better of a mid-range shot and a little bit better on D. And that's Jordan, bro. They're the same damn player. They're the same damn thing. I think Jordan could sky a little higher too.
I think he did say that. He said Russell Westbrook reminds him a lot of him. I think he did say that.
To this day, man, since 89, 90, I've been watching basketball pretty religiously, and that's the closest thing I've seen to him.
Well, that's crazy.
No, so I hear this asterisk. I think that's so unfair. People are so unfair with LeBron, man. I don't know why people hate this guy so much. Give him his due. This dude's been playing so damn long, and nobody was going up against them teams and beating them. Them Golden State teams and beating them. Get out of here. That's so unfair.
YouTube is a great place, and it recommended me an old playoff series between LeBron and Boston, like in 2007. First of all, it is unbelievable how quick he was back then. A lot of people might not remember that now, but if you go back and watch that, I just said, damn, he was like that, and he brought that team all the way to the conference finals, right? So you got to think, look, LeBron had nobody. He was passing the ball to Delonte West.
What do you mean, Anderson Varejao?
Like, are you serious right now? You're gonna hold LeBron for all those bad years? And can you imagine if LeBron
was amazing? He brought that team that far.
I couldn't believe. I forgot all about Delonte West. He's passing it to Delonte West. Boobie
Who was the
Gibson.
dude they brought in there? Like, oh, this guy's gonna be great. Oh, Larry Hughes. What the? They acted like
I
Larry Hughes was fucking Scottie Pippen or something. That
I
guy was
I
horrible.
really sat back there, and I don't know how you do it, but he was good, man. Boston came out and they were like, oh yeah, we beat down LeBron. KG is full of it, man. They were one game away from elimination against that Cleveland team. This was like late. This was like 2007, I think. 2007. Early. This was when Kobe was very dominant around that time, but Kobe did lose the 1 year, and then he came back and he beat him. But it's just LeBron. I didn't respect him, but then when he said the quote when he won the championship this year, and he was like, I want my damn respect, and I started thinking about that. You know what? For almost a decade straight, this guy's been going to the finals. That how unreal that we taking it for granted now. 100%, we're taking it for granted.
Other than Bill Russell, there's really nobody that really kind of compares to that kind of.
You won't see it. You won't see it for a long time. You won't see it.
I'm sorry, but even if you put Jordan on all LeBron's teams, when they're going up against them Golden State teams and what he had around him, he ain't winning.
No,
you ain't winning. And these people that are like such sycophants for this man are like, he would have said, just give me the ball. They're like, no, he would have willed his way to it. What the fuck? They got swept, dude. His whole team was hurt. They got swept. I don't care who you are.
No, it's
Put anybody on that team, Hakeem, Leonard, Bird, whoever you want. They're getting swept. Magic Johnson, I don't care who it is.
When I tell you he had nobody, he was passing the ball to players that were making shots at the time. Like they were hanging around the game. Guys I never heard of before, never mentioned once. But somehow we got to hold LeBron to the standard comparing to Jordan. Listen,
no, that's ridiculous. He surpassed Jordan in my mind, anyway.
So. You can't, and I'll be happy for him if he gets one more. If you want to talk to the rings, but because he is 30. He's 36, right? So naturally, the human body, he's built different. He's built different.
Oh, for a guy his size, dude, he should not be playing like this right
now. No, he's built totally different, and
he should have been broken down.
I don't know what it is that he's doing. I hope maybe if he writes a book one day, we can find out like all this. He spends about $1 million, I think, on his body a year.
I heard something like that. I got respect for the guy. One thing I think a lot of people, I mean, he always makes the right play, just the right basketball play, and people kill him for it. If he makes a pass at the end of a game or something, but if it's wide open, he's gonna make the pass.
Hey man,
percentages play out, but wide open three, you know what I mean? Or him look at us. People say he's running away from the free throw line. All right, well, wide open three. What's the percentages of hitting it and winning, or him going to the free throw line and what's he shoot 70%? Play the percentages. Him passing the ball gives a better percentage of winning the game.
But then you have
it's the right play. And he got people killing him. Michael Jordan would have took that shot. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, we only know the good plays, not the bad. Well, Michael Jordan missed plenty of shots.
Oh, plenty. I took so many. He missed most of them.
He missed plenty of shots, but we only remember.
You hear this 6-0. Okay, so all the years that LeBron dragged poor teams. So just because Michael couldn't drag a poor team to the finals and lose, because he would have, because he didn't even make it to the finals, that's somehow being held against LeBron. I don't get the logic there. It makes no sense.
There's only one. There's really only one. There's only one where I said LeBron should have won that one. That's the one against Dallas. The one against Dallas.
Dallas is just a better team. If you watch how Dallas was playing in the playoffs, they were a better team. Dirk was good back then. Dirk is like people sleeping how good Dirk was. He was.
Nah, he was ridiculous too around that time. I mean, that was probably one of the best years he had because he was healthy. He had a good team. I think was Kidd part of that team?
Yeah. Jason Kidd was on that team.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of really good low-level stars there too. And J.J. Barrett at the time, he was killing it. He was a great sixth man. They were a good team. LeBron had nothing on that team. Larry Hughes was horrible. He was on a shitty team. Who was he on? He was on like the Wizards or something, I think. And he was putting up like 20-something points, but it was literally on like one of them bad teams where you're the only player.
No, that was the year he was in Miami. He was in Miami that year already with Wade and Bosh, but they just didn't gel.
Were they? Was that
Yeah,
Miami? I'm
yeah,
thinking
that was the first year. That was the very
he
first year they
brought
got together.
Cleveland. He brought Cleveland to.
He did. He did, but he got smoked. I forgot by who. But the one against Dallas was when he was with Miami the first year. That's why they beat him up for it because it was with Wade and Bosh already. But sometimes you need
Yeah,
time
but
to
you know
come
what
together.
though? Wade was never the same the whole time
He's
that
getting
LeBron
older.
was there. Not old. It's just he was always hurt. He was never right. And Bosch was a great player, but when he went there, it took him time to kind of fit in too, and
Mhm.
realize that he needed to be a role player.
Instead of
So
being a star, because he was a star. He was with Toronto before that, and he was the star player there. So then he
yeah,
came.
another thing, a great player on a bad team where you're getting all the play.
Mm.
So I mean, listen, if you want to compare it to Jordan, oh, he lost that one. That's fine, but them guys had years and years of playing together and meshing together, and then just every year getting another piece. And oh, now this guy's getting slowly built up to where the point to where it hit, where they finally started going. There was no real competition.
Yeah, they
Them
were
guys had
killing
played
everybody.
together for years and years. There was no team that was even close. I just don't see how Michael Jordan became the standard. I just don't. I just don't understand it.
There was more to it
He
though,
should be a standard for shooting guards. I'd be okay with that. But why the fuck is he a standard for a shooting guard 20 years later? Huh?
because he won.
They're
Because he
different.
won.
He also lost a lot. I mean, he
He
was in the league
did.
like 8 years where he even started going to the championship. And then when he came back from baseball, I remember because at the time if Shaq was in the game, I rooted. And I remember that Orlando beat the snot out of them when he came back. When Jordan came back to the Bulls there, and Orlando bounced them the first year Jordan was back in the playoffs. And Penny was
Like
so
a
good
penny.
there. hmm And of
It's
course, Houston was actually good for a couple of years in between there, so they never got the chip. Man, I was rooting for them guys.
Kenny Smith and them.
But once the Knicks got bounced out the playoffs, I was going for whoever Shaq was on. That was my dude.
Yeah, you're a Shaq guy, man.
Oh, I loved that guy, man. He was great. I even actually one of the first cassette tapes I ever bought was that fucking stupid Shaq album.
Wow.
There used to be a little cassette store. Like, not
Yeah.
this before CDs were out.
I
And
kind of
fuck, I
remember
can
that.
remember that one stupid song Shaq made. Like, I hate to brag, but damn, I'm good. It was so fucking cheesy. Then he had that horrible Kazam movie shit that came out. Kazam. When I was a little kid, I was
But
all into that shit.
no, but he was doing so many things because he was the man. That was the one thing. I think he really made that popular. The branding stuff. Magic would have done it if it was more available in his time, and if it didn't come with all the other stuff that happened to him. But he
Hey,
was.
if you want to give somebody credit for branding, you gotta go with Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one thing I can't slight the man for. He was on point with his branding and he had his own little style, and
Damn
well,
the
he's still
shoes.
making a fuck ton of money on it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's another thing too. A lot of the kids, it's not a smart investment for me. A lot of these Jordans. I remember in middle school and high school, I always want a pair of like Jordan shoes, but like my parents were gonna buy it. I couldn't afford
Mm.
those things. And now that I'm older, I remember my favorite ones. They were called like Aqua 8. So I made sure that when I had the money, as I got older, I bought those just to as like a accomplishment, so that you were able to buy them because you
I
see
hear
them
you.
all. So I did. But if you think about that now, especially with Michael Jordan, one of the reasons why he's a billionaire now is because he can afford to just re-release the shoes, and the kids just keep on buying it and buying them. Which is, if people would do that for stuff that we would make, if we have a product that you can sell over and over again, it's really the same one, but it just comes out in maybe 3 or 4 years later after the first time. Of course, you're gonna be rich. That's why I would wish for LaMelo to go do something with LeVar, but I don't think he would do that because LaMelo is too worried about what other people are gonna say about him wearing the shoes that his father is trying to make. It's a
Well, his
genius
dad's a
idea.
whack job. Well, their company got all fucked up, didn't it? From some guy that was their business associate or something.
Yeah, he was like stealing like money from them and stuff like that.
Mm. That's
It's
why you can't
unfortunate.
do business with your friends, man. That's
No,
you got to be smarter than that. I'd be all into the shoes more, but they don't even make them in the United States anymore. So I don't fuck you.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
You know, they got the shoe factories over in fucking Vietnam and shit. They got nets around the building because these people are skydiving head first off the tops over there being working
Yeah,
there.
they
Then
kill
and they're costing you 15 cents and the cost of net so that people can't kill themselves. And you expect me to pay $400 for pay? Fuck you.
Yeah, no, I'm all
And you
for
ain't
it.
even got
Man.
American people making them over here. They make enough money where they could be over here making them just fine. But
Yeah,
whatever.
they could, but but don't you notice that though? Like, look what we're dealing with now, COVID. All of a sudden, we can magically start handing out money. Like, it's crazy how the economy can be controlled whenever we want certain things to happen. All of a sudden, we can start giving out money. Like, when was this
They
ever?
did it once. They ain't doing it again.
Yeah, nah. That if you ain't got your check by,
they ain't giving it to us either. They're
nah.
giving all their rich friends.
Nah, it's crazy. It's crazy, you know. Like, I've learned a lot. So I came from Europe. I was actually born in the Netherlands. So I've
Oh, nice. I thought about
yeah.
going over to school. When I got done in high school, I was thinking about. So I really wanted to get out of the country. I started scouting some colleges over there. So I kind of finished high school a little early,
Mm.
and I was thinking about. I was checking out some schools there in Sweden and all that shit. Some of them college. If you go over there and do your schooling and finish, they offer you citizenship. So, um, yeah, I'm very brutal on the way this country works.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I know a lot about that stuff too, because I had studied it. I was lucky enough to be able to finish my degree. I went back to school with all the nonsense that happened, and I got a bachelor's now. But it's
Listen, don't get me wrong. It's a great country, and if you bust your ass, and if you meet the right people, and if it works out right, it's
you can
just
make it.
there's no empathy towards it. It's not about relationships like how it should. It's bottom lines, and if it affects the stock market, then damn did you and your whole family can starve.
Yeah,
There's
or
no
you.
compassion to anything, and everybody just outsources their companies, leaves us high and dry. I mean, where my aunt was in Maryland, there was like back in the 80s and 90s, there was factories everywhere. Everybody had a job. Nobody had to worry about it.
Yeah,
They're all gone. They're all gone, and now them people are on welfare. And what? So the people who own the companies can make a few more dollars? Get the hell out!
and they never
It's just
came back
the most
either.
un-American thing that you could think of. So you know what? If I find out something's not made in this country, fuck you. You're gonna
Yeah, no,
outsource something. I ain't buying it. They shouldn't even let you bring this shit over here for free to sell it.
I respect that. No, I respect that. And it's unfortunate because it really started. You know what started it? If you go back to the 80s, man,
All the trade agreements.
the 80s is what started all of that. And we wanted a piece of the pie, but you know what it is? China was outsmarting us. And
Mm.
but the deal at the time looked good because the economy was great. The early 90s, economy was booming.
Yeah,
People were
they
making
can make
money
their
there.
shit cheaper because they keep their wages down and their money value down, so it costs
Mhm.
them nothing to make stuff. Listen, I understand it, but at the end of the day, when I was a kid, and even now, when you buy something American, it's just not a piece of shit. Don't fall apart. It don't last 2 weeks and it's broken.
Mhm.
And that's just not like trying to be Americans make the best shit in the world, but they really do. I mean, some of the oldest stuff that we make in this country, and even other countries like Italy. Italy makes great shit. There's just certain countries, Germany makes great things.
Mhm.
There's certain companies that make great shit, but when you move your companies over there and these countries go cheap, the quality of everything goes down. Even the furniture nowadays is like made of this glue board garbage. You sit on it, your ass falls through, and you got to buy a new couch. And shit, you got furniture from 300 years ago from England and America, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
still holding. People still sitting on it just fine, you
You
know?
went to your grandma's house. That thing used to last forever. And you couldn't even sit on the real thing. It was covered. You know what I mean? You couldn't even sit on the real couch. You had to sit on the cover of the couch because it was that important. I
Yeah.
remember. It's sick. It's sick, really, because everything now from like if it's Chinese, they have a way to make it cheaper. I swear to God, I saw a pair of what looked like AirPods. They literally selling them for $20, and it's the same exact thing. But it's wild. One thing I wanted to ask you, since it's about our old boy, if we're switching back to football, did you hear about this story today about Odell and he got banned from LSU for like 2 years?
Well, yeah. Did you see what he did?
Yeah, I remember that though. He was handing out money to the players and he was
Yeah.
recording
What
it.
the hell are you thinking?
He has these moments where he I want to like him.
He don't care. I remember. Listen, I was upset when he got traded. I understood it. I got upset because somebody said the other day on one of the live streams, you can't make football decisions based on your feelings. If your feelings are hurt, you can't trade somebody. But it was just. I remember he did a press conference one time. It was after I think like the drug where it came out. We had the drugs on the bed and the pizza and all that stupid shit.
Bro. Yeah.
And he literally said in the press conference, like, it's not going to stop. It is what it is. I'm not going to change. And I went, well, then you've left. You've left no choice. You got to go. Listen, when the owner can't even walk out of his office, he's got cameras in his face. Oh, Odell. They're not going to, no owner is going to take that shit.
No.
You know, not, how long can you deal with it? And then there's drugs. Then you give him $100 million, and he's making your whole organization look like a joke.
Even though personally they weren't much better, but it was worse because it was dad, and then he would keep sending, which is one of the worst mistakes he's ever made. One of the worst mistakes he's ever made was when I forgot the game, but there was a game where there was a big headline before that Odell and Eli. You remember they had gone to dinner together or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next game, Eli played really bad. And then Odell goes to the camera and he's sending shots at Eli. After that game, it was done. It was done.
Listen, Eli's the most classiest dude. There's no reason for that. I think Odell in his mind thought that if he goes anywhere else, Eli was regressing, but I still don't think it affected the production that Eli was. I don't think he understood. I think he was getting plenty of production out of Eli. And I think in his mind, he's thinking, all right, obviously Odell's a smart kid. For all his stupid shit he does, he's not stupid. Mm-hmm. He sees his quarterback's regressing. He knows his quarterback's not the best in the world. He's thinking if he goes somewhere else with a good quarterback, he's going to have 2,000 yards, 3,000 yards. And I just don't think he really knew at the time what football was and how it worked and how much has to go into getting you them opportunities. And, you know? Yeah.
And now you're stuck with
for whatever McAdoo did, he did good at scheming shit for Odell. He did a good job of that.
He got some deep plays, man. I remember Eli. Sometimes, like if Eli had a little pop on the ball, he throws that bomb, and Odell is just wide open. Those used to be the plays that get you excited, and it kind of got to that point. It got so bad at one point where Odell was the damn quarterback. He was a damn quarterback, and he's throwing touchdown passes now.
Yeah, the last year he was here, yeah.
And I get it. Listen, football, unlike basketball, that's the one thing too about basketball. You can be the best player on the team, you can win a championship. I don't care who you are in football. You cannot be the only guy contributing and think you're gonna win. It's not happening.
No.
It's not happening. And that's real. And I think you're right. I think Odell didn't realize that. I just think Odell, he didn't realize.
Listen, a lot of these younger players, the grass is always greener. You're always peaking somewhere else. Just you need a little bit. You need to grow up. This is a different place. If he would have pulled all that shit for who knows the Jaguars, none of this shit would be a story. None of this shit. You might see on ESPN for a little segment, and it's done. Mm-hmm. You're in New York. This is a different beast. And I feel like at some point when he started getting all the like, oh, look at Odell, ESPN 24/7, I think he kind of just he thought he was bigger than the team.
Because
he became like just all about himself. Now I'm sure he was cool. I'm sure he was cool with his wide receiver and everything because he was the best player on the team.
Of course,
the team's gonna pump you up, man. You're the shit. You were a beast. Yeah, yeah, but you got to give that back too, and you gotta. I don't know. I can't. I have it in my head, but I can't explain. He just went. He went like Kardashian. Maybe that's the best way I should put it. He felt himself a little too much.
Yeah, and now you get hit with a reality check. That's also one of the last things that I wanted to talk about today. What do you think of Baker Mayfield from what we've seen right now?
He's got he's got all the tools, dude. I mean, he's got a good arm. He's got a shitty attitude, but it seems like he's growing up a little bit. But he's just listen. When you always run a risk with young quarterbacks when you bring them in and put them behind horrible O lines. And that O line last year that he had in Cleveland was as bad as I've ever seen one. This year he's got a great O line, very good O line, but I think he's still got it in his head. He's still, well, how's the way to put it, shell shocked. Like Eli when he got older. He got so much. You remember when he was young, he was so tough in the pocket, take a shot. But he got hit so many times, and it got so bad that where he just said, "I can't." He's seeing ghosts, just like Darnold said. Just like Darnold, seeing ghosts. You're just waiting to get hit every play. You just start laying down. You just start throwing the ball on the ground. Phil Simms did the same fucking thing later on too. People don't even know. You just start laying down, man. And Baker Mayfield's got the happy feet. He's seeing ghost.
Yeah.
He sees a guy. He sees the rush popping out the outside, and he ain't even waiting to see if it gets blocked or not. He's running. He's headed.
Because he can only really throw on the run. He doesn't like to stand still and throw anymore. It seems like that's the only time he really throws is when he starts moving around, which to me is not an efficient throw because now you got it makes the percentage of completion, in my opinion, lower. Even though I'm not a big stats guy, instead of just standing there.
I hear you. So you see it too. He's always running and throwing on the run because he don't trust his line.
It's crazy.
And once you get to that point where you're running for your life, when you finally do have a good O line, I could see how it could be. All right, I can trust it now. I can trust it. But I think at some point these kids get hit so much, they're like they're in the back of their mind. They're not even thinking about the play. Like, oh fuck, man, I'm about to get hit.
Yeah,
I gotta go. It doesn't look good to have that thought. Gotta go, but you gotta have that thought with looking down the field, find your fucking read, find your person, and rip it. That's how you gotta go. You don't gotta go running.
It doesn't look like it hurt, but trust me, it hurts. You know what I mean?
It hurts. I played defensive end. Believe me, I've heard plenty of wind come out of people.
It's crazy.
That's the best feeling in the world. I love it. Oh, and you hear, I have the air come out, man. That's the best feeling in the world.
No, that's good, man. But I just think for Baker, maybe it's the eye test, but he doesn't seem like the biggest quarterback in the world already. He doesn't seem like he can. The joke on him is that he can't see over his line because he's not tall enough to. Like, whether
I think he's okay in that department. What is he, 6'1"? I think he's okay in that department. 6 foot?
About 6 foot. He's not going to be like a Cam Newton guy or Joe Burrow or something like that. But he's got decent size. I just think that for what it is, they're giving him all the stuff, kind of like Odell. One of the things one of my favorite rappers always said, and I never forgot this. His name is Fabulous. He said, "Money ain't the root of all evil now. Attention is." And how so? Right? How so? So you got Baker Mayfield in this case. Baker Mayfield is on all the commercials and all the this and all the that without really having proven himself to be that guy. Now, look, the Cleveland Browns are very good, but isn't it crazy that a team like the Steelers can all of a sudden come out and be that good? They're an example of a very well-run football organization because over the years, I really think that they haven't necessarily been good every year, but they can find their years where they're really good. And that Steelers team absolutely beat them. You know what I mean? And that goes to show you, I don't care your pieces that you have around you. You got to elevate to a new level because, hey, you got Odell, you got Landry, you have a running game, but it has to be at some point where I feel like for Baker, you got to start making plays because there's too many guys that can make them for you. And that's where I think he messes up. He's kind of like, he's kind of in a way like Daniel Jones a little bit sometimes, where he's susceptible for one really bad play, and that play changes the course of the whole game.
Well, Baker's young, and he's been on, let's face it, bad teams. I think Baker's problem is he's been on teams with bad coaching. And that's also something that's hard for a young player. If I like to sit Baker down and ask Baker, "Do you love football?" Because I wonder that sometimes. Do you love football, or do you love the opportunities that football gives? Because
Kind of
look
like
at these
Manziel.
young quarterbacks that turn into be great. Yeah, a guy like Odell, great quarterbacks. They love this shit. It's their life. It is their life. Like Dak, dude. Say what you want about Dak Prescott. That man, when he got wheeled off the field, he was crying.
Yeah,
He's a
tears in
football
eyes.
player. He
It's
lives
sad,
for
man.
this shit.
Yeah.
He lives for football. I don't know. I have questions. Do you actually do you love football? Yeah, Peyton Manning was in an ass load of commercials. Year 8, year 9. He had it figured out by
Mm.
then.
It's
So that would be my
different, right?
question to him. Do you love football, or do you love the opportunities football gives? And
But
I think he's scarred from bad coaching and bad O-line play. Other than that, I like him. I like the guy. He was an okay prospect. Listen, he's the underdog. I like underdog stories. Now he pissed me off with all the stupid shit he said because Odell came in and he wanted to be nice to him and get on his good side. He kind of made enemies with Giants fan base, talking on shit he had nothing to do with us, and stay the hell out of it. This is us and Odell thing. Keep your
no,
mouth shut.
no, but that's how it is. He's gonna stick up for his boy because apparently, like they're gonna be cool and stuff like that. Oh, and that reminds me of, I guess, one last guy. Soon, our good friend. I don't know how good of friends you are with him. Antonio Brown is coming back soon.
Yeah, I think this week he actually is good to sign.
I forgot all about the guy, but not a head case, really. I mean, what can you say? There's some guys in the NFL. It's not
He's
really about
he's
football, is it?
mentally ill. If I
You think
was to
so?
sign him on my team, dude, I'd have to.
Not guaranteed.
Well, I'd send him to a therapist. I'm not even joking. I would honestly sign a therapist, and I would have somebody from my football team sit in the session with him. I'd work out a deal with a therapist, and because I think he has a mental issue, I
Yeah.
really do. I'm not trying to be cruel or shit talk him. I really think there's something wrong there, and maybe he's learned his lesson. I don't know. I literally just started Twitter like a week ago, so.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know. But I'd love to bring him in. He'd obviously immediately help. I mean, first of all, he would probably take with the COVID shit going on. I know that they COVID test you and then they quarantine you for a certain. I don't know how long it is.
All right.
Like if he were to sign him, ain't like he'd come in and play next week. I don't think it'd take a couple weeks, but he would definitely help. My question is, you got all these young players in here. They're not quitting. They're losing. They're not quitting. Is it worth the risk to have this guy come in here? Because let's face it, I don't know if you've ever been on a football team. Most of the players are followers. So if you put in somebody that's a better player, people are instantly. I mean, with Odell, a lot of people picked Odell over the coaches and all that. So you can very easily start a rift,
I never thought about it
and
like that.
you could oust the player. Like you could say like a month in, like, oh man, this guy's fucking starting shit in our locker room. He's being a whack job. Maybe he goes in the field and attacks somebody. Who knows them? I mean, he don't
He-
seem to be mentally stable. And we've seen the same shit with Odell. He was head helmet and beat Josh
Exactly.
Norman and all that shit. So I mean, you could even cut him after a month, but then that rift's already there. That rift's there with Judge and the younger players. So I would be very careful. I haven't heard this take, but I would have him sit down with a therapist for a nice couple 3 hour session and kind of get where he's at mentally. And maybe he hasn't sat down with a therapist, and maybe he just needs some prescriptions. Maybe he needs some Seroquel or something, or whatever they give the schizophrenics or something. I'm not sure what his deal is. Well, I haven't seen whether he's bugging on Twitter or not. I heard he's pretty bad on there.
Really, I haven't. I usually don't keep up with much on Twitter. I try to post my content on there, but I've never been a fan when it comes to Twitter of typing my thoughts so people know how I think. If that makes sense. Like I've never really been, unless it's like YouTube related. I don't really go on there because I just don't want people to know how I'm thinking, what I'm doing. I just feel like like we've gotten away from that. I'm not the oldest guy in the world, but I guess I have an older soul. So I don't want my stuff to be out there. There's some people, they got the phone, 24/7.
They don't care about privacy. Yeah.
Yeah, why you got to put that on the social media for? Like it doesn't do nothing. And
I actually
only
deleted my Facebook about 3 months ago. I
you
don't
do,
need it. I don't need it.
you know,
And it's liberating. It's liberating because I was always very nervous. Even though I'm not 35, so I've been around the technology, so I've always been real. How do you say this? Cognizant of phone addiction, which I noticed a lot of people have, and even a lot of my younger cousins. So I never wanted to be on the phone too much. And it got to the point where I was just waking up and instantly grabbing my phone and going on Facebook. And I started realizing, like, oh, I'm starting to turn into one of these fucking assholes that I'm talking to and they're on their phone. I can't even talk to them. I'm
Yeah.
not going to become one of them people. That's not living. That's the virtual world. I want to live in the real world.
Real is the way.
You know,
That's
when I'm
where it's
home,
at.
I got my headphones on my phone and I'm listening to YouTube or whatever. But I don't give a fuck about a like. Like my balls. I don't
Yeah.
care whether you like me or not. I don't do this YouTube to become rich or anything. Obviously, we got one person watching.
You know, I mean, shit.
Nah.
I'm on the YouTube because I feel like it's a good platform to grow for
Yeah.
whatever thoughts you
Yeah.
have. You know.
Yeah,
And
it's about you, your opinion. Not everybody. I mean, it's nice to hear other opinions, but at the end of the day, people come to see you,
mhm.
not what somebody else said. And, you know, so I try and come up. I try to have my own opinions that are mine, and that's it. I don't like to be influenced by anybody. You know?
And that's the thing, though, because I remember one of the things that I remember about sports radio is that my dad would listen to it as he's working, or we would take a drive somewhere, and I'm like, oh, man, I wish I could reply to Mike and Mike in the morning or Stephen A. And then I got
Mm.
tired of waiting for what they said, and I was like, you know what? What if I just start speaking the things that I think, you know? And that's one thing that we have lost already. We do not have the ability anymore to think for ourselves. Like you said, like most
Yep.
people are totally followers nowadays. With social
Yeah.
media,
Well,
you
it's
follow,
easier. It's
right?
easier.
You
It's
know,
easier. You don't have to think. It's just, this guy seems like he's smart enough. Well, just whatever he
you
says.
believe him.
Just make the same points. Not even believe. Just go along with it. It's easier.
If he wears a white coat, he must be the doctor. So hey, you know, like let's not ask if hey, are you really the guy? Like we don't know, you know, and that's what's plaguing us now a lot too, because we don't have the ability to differentiate what's online and what's real, and we don't know how to process information. I remember I know for a fact there are people that will go on the internet and think that everything they read there is real. You
Some
know.
people do. Yeah. What was it? I was in a chat a couple weeks ago, and it was like this traveling to Mars shit thing or whatever. And these people are in the chat, and they're
Mhm.
talking about how like government's talking to aliens, and they're set up the whole government with all this. It's all a big plot. Like, these people believe this shit. Like what? Yeah, because they heard about it, saw it on a YouTube video, and I went, "Oh shit!" And then something else popped up because they looked at that. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
suggest, and all of a sudden you got all this. How would you say it? Like reformation or reaffirmation or something like,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yep.
So it
Yeah,
must be true.
I thought that people would get smarter when the technology get better because the information is there. You're one click away from it,
Hmm.
but it's actually made things a lot
Worse.
worse, a lot worse. And people have become really sensitive to having that's having being challenged on an idea, which I don't like. If I have a belief in anything, and somebody challenges me on it, I'm okay with that because if my belief of anything doesn't stand up to debate, then it's not worth believing in. So I have totally listened to anything about anything, religion, politics, anything. I will hear them out. And people kind of like dig in nowadays, and then it becomes like a us against them kind of thing.
Right.
When at
If
the
you're
end of
not
the
with me,
day,
you're
we're
against
just
me.
humans and we're different. And if people would actually just treat each other good and actually listen to each other, you don't have to take somebody's side on anything. Just hear them out and just have just be a person. And everybody's just so at each other about everything. People fight about everything now. It's unbelievable the shit people find to fight with each other. I get people that attack me because I stick up for Daniel Jones here, and they're like, "It's the 17th game. Chill down." Oh,
Hey,
fuck you Daniel Jones fanboy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you at me about?
so there's
Or
a
now
guy.
I'm a fanboy? Like,
there's a
once go back through and look and see where I've ever said he's going to be a star or he's a franchise quarterback.
You're just trying to give him a chance.
I'm just you're a fucking idiot. After 17 games, you said he's a bust. I'm just like, hey, you gotta give the kid a chance. Fuck you, fanboy. Go suck Daniel Jones' dick. What are you talking about right
That's
now?
crazy. That's why I don't deal with the Giants chat on Facebook because I was looking around and I was like, I don't like the way they talk in there, so I'm not gonna put my stuff in there. But I do it in the next chat. There was a guy that commented
What's up,
below
Philly
you.
Notion? Hey, Philly Notion. I seen you on the hub, bro.
What up? What up?
Hey, you ain't dropping no 30 on us, motherfucker. I'm here to tell you. You ain't gonna drop no 30 on us. It ain't happening. I don't even want to hear that shit. Ain't no Eagles flying here. Hey, Eagles should win. Eagles should win, all right. But you never know. This defense is sneaky, all right. We're
Uh,
extra sneaky. You know what I'm saying?
I just
Oh,
realized you
by the
were
way,
the
ask
Giants.
Donnie. You should go up and Philly Notion's a pretty good dude. You can
Oh
go sub
yes.
him up. Philly Notion, go sub my boy. Ask Donnie up. We're all. I think Philly Notion just got like 400. Just hit the 400 mark. So congrats on that, man.
Yes, sir. Congratulations, brother. We're all
You're not dropping 30, bro. It ain't happening. It's not happening. I'm telling you.
hey man, we're just trying to grow our stuff, and like that's the thing about finding like-minded people. I wanted to ask you, how did you even find me? Like
Oh,
we
dude, a Giants YouTube wormhole, man.
That's
See, I'll
funny.
pass. I'll eat, man. And like when I eat, I just fall the fuck asleep. So I wake up and my YouTube's like I'm probably like 20 videos deep, and I'll be playing somebody.
That's funny, man.
And
That's the
I no, I think I found you on a Daniel Jones video. You said something about Daniel Jones. I think it was after the Steelers game or something. You're like, yeah, he's pretty nice. He looks pretty good.
yeah. And that's why I always tell you, I was like, man, we think alike, man. Like you say the same stuff I say. It's like that's crazy. Like word for word, I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, I like this guy.
Because it's common sense. I mean, I don't got no crazy take.
Hey, thank you, Philly, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna sub you back on that. Definitely gonna check
Dude,
out your
you
work too.
can't be talking shit about the Giants. We are a fucking rebuilding team. There is no excuse for how your team's playing right now.
Listen. The first 2 quarters, let's see, because the way the Giants are, if we can get something going, I believe in my team. Like no matter what, maybe it's bad or not. I believe in the Giants. Conference is wide open at 1-5, so anything is possible. Anything is absolutely possible. These guys might get so motivated that from here on out we might win a couple more games. So
The
Eagle,
division's easy. If you win the rest, if the Giants win the rest of their division games,
they're
I mean
in.
that gives you a chance. You never
Yeah,
know.
no.
And if you listen, we could have beat Chicago. We were 4 yards away. The Steelers game was actually we were right there, but that DJ got his arm hit there. That game could have been different. We could have 3 wins right now in a different universe. We
We
were
could have
right
even
there
beaten the
though.
Steelers, right? Yeah, no, we could have beaten the
So
Steelers
you
easy.
don't know. Listen, this is the NFL. You don't know. Carson
Anything.
Wentz has looked horrible right now. His O line is horrible. It's decimated. Their linebackers are not good. The only thing that really scares me about them is their defensive line because our O line is not good either.
Yeah,
So that's the only thing that scares me is their defensive line. And our history, even when we were good and Eagles were shit, they always fucking beat us. I don't know what it is. They
no, that's
always do.
true. Same with the Cowboys though. Cowboys beating us every
Now we're
goddamn year.
pretty. If you go back through the history, we're pretty split with them. In the '90s, they really kicked the shit out of us. But the last few years, we just been so bad. Everybody, listen, it ain't just our division beating us; it's everybody beating us.
Bro, that's the thing, Like so some teams we haven't beaten in years, and and, and I think that that's a mentality, man, because it takes a lot just to play football, let alone win. You know what I mean? So get something out of it while you're there. Like
Yo, Philly Notion, you ain't sweeping this year. We're getting at least one, at least one, at least one. I mean, we're both horrible, and you're a better team, but at least one. This
hey,
is the game. Ain't got no tight ends. Ain't got no offensive line.
we're
Oh,
in
I
for a
made a
big
car.
game.
Listen, Philly Notion, go back to my videos and go watch my Carson Wentz video, bro. I got a good one in there. It's
Oh,
8 straight minutes of Carson Wentz fumbles. You'll love it. It was after the week 1 L y'all took to the no names. Actually, I'm gonna go. I think I got Philly Notion subbed up. I'm gonna sub him up now.
You know what? I just realized. I didn't realize you're supposed to click on comments to see who comments. I was in the private chat thing the whole time. I didn't know. I didn't know that. So there were guys talking there. I would have at least said thank you for being in there.
There was a few people that popped in, but by the time I seen them, by the time what the hell am I not? Oh, I'm subbed up on Philly Notion on my other profile, my
Hold on.
alt,
Let me
my
find
burner
it.
account. Whatever. I'm telling you, Philly, you don't want to lose this game because I'm gonna be all up in your fucking shit. I'm gonna be all up in your chats talking mad shit. Because if you lose to this dumpster fire, your season's over.
Listen, man. The Knicks got a shot. That's all I'm hearing. The Knicks got a shot. The Giants got a shot. I feel like you know what? Tell me that though. We're in for a big game though. Tell me not. We're in for a big game. We're in for something. Like after the win, like you know how I used to play. So I used to play soccer and I ran track, whatever. But you know, team sports altogether. If you had especially I've been part of bad teams, especially in soccer. So
Mm.
if you would get one win finally, it motivates you though, right? In practice throughout the week, you come in, it's game day, you feel better because you know you finally won a game. You don't know, you just don't know, you just don't know. That's my mentality. I believe that. Listen, a win is a win, and I was one of the only people, and you as well. See, that's rude, man. It's okay. It's okay, Philly. It's okay.
Wait. Ain't the Eagles 1-5 right now?
What was
Fucking
their record?
talking basement, bro.
Yeah,
We're all in the basement.
we
It
have the
ain't just
same
Giants being
record.
laughed at this year. We're rebuilding. What's your excuse? I don't want to hear injuries. I don't want to. Everybody's fucking injured this year. You see the
They're,
NFL?
yeah, they're 1-4-1. It's the
Everybody's
same.
talking about Daniel Jones is a tournament machine. What the fuck? Carson Wentz throws 3 a day.
I'm gonna sub you back, Philly. I'm
Dude's
gonna sub
got
you back.
9 picks, bro. This dude's got 9 picks. The fuck out of here.
And it's DJ's
But you know
second
what?
year.
I'll say this game is completely unpredictable with the Eagles. We could lose by 50. They could lose by 50. It could be a tight game. I think they're such dog shit. It's going to be a real close game. You know, again.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to put money on it, I'd probably put it on the Eagles because somehow something stupid happens every time.
Yeah.
65-yard field goals, fucking 80-yard punt returns. Something always happens.
It's a fumble.
The Giants defense is good enough this year to where they sit back and they play everything in front of them. And if you make a bad errant pass, they're gonna make you pay. They're gonna make you pay. It's a different kind of defense. The offense is dog shit. And they could go out there and just lay a stinker. They could get you 9 points, Giants offense, but you just don't know. You don't know.
But we talked about this too though. Do you find this weird that we get like strange calls called against us sometimes?
Oh,
Like
but horrible call. The
I
refs
don't
have been
want to
horrid this
complain
year.
like that, but there's some calls that I'm looking at. There's no way they're calling that in other games. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
exactly. It's horrid.
offensive pass interference calls that are being called. They're being calls on the line that are costing us literally touchdowns. They're costing
Dude,
us
the
touchdowns.
funny one was remember week 1, Evan Engram caught that big pass on the seam. They called him offensive PI. But if you remember the Steelers' first drive, Chase Claypool had like the biggest push off ever on our corner and caught like a
Yeah,
30-yard pass.
I remember
Like
that.
that. Listen, if you
Told you.
want to call that, cool. Call it both ways.
It
That's
has to be
my thing.
fair. But I guess we both kind of came under the conclusion that like if you're a bad team, you're not going to get it. But it doesn't look good, and it's not fair. It's not fair to me because that's literally 2 games that we could have won, and that would have put us in a totally different position, even though we still had losing records.
Philly Notion, you want this? You want this division? Go ahead, because you're probably going to be fucking 6-10 and win it. Instead of getting a number 8 pick or something in the draft, you're going to be 20. Your whole team's fucked. When the cap goes down next year, your team's going to be like 75 million over the cap. How is that even legal? They're going to have to forfeit your season.
Hey, I mean, look on the bright side. They got rid of Aguilar, right?
No, look on the bright side, man. Howie Roseman just saved a shit ton of money on his car insurance. That team's a fucking disaster over there.
But you know what I will say though, it's weird for them because after winning the Super Bowl, I don't know how it went downhill like that. It's kind of weird.
Injuries, I
It doesn't
think.
it doesn't usually go like that though, Philly, don't you think? Like usually after winning a Super Bowl, You would think for Carson Wentz, like everything is secure, but you guys had the two quarterbacks that you were dealing with at the time. It was Carson Wentz and what's this guy?
I like Carson Wentz. I think he's a good quarterback, but he just wasn't the same after that year. I don't know what it is. He was so good that year that they went and won a Super Bowl, and he just hasn't looked that way since.
He was
Don't
playing
get
on
me
the
wrong;
run.
he's had moments, and he was really good last year with not many weapons and all that. But I think people were underselling the weapons because Ward was really good, Miles Sanders was really good, and even the other running back they got over there, Scott or whatever the hell his name, they were good, and the running backs and the tight ends were really good. So
Mhm.
people were making this man sound like they got nothing, and it just wasn't. It wasn't. And the Cowboys were always a disaster. If there's a way to just lose a game, they're going to do it.
They're the experts at that.
Winning! You're not winning this year. What are you winning now? What are you
Yeah.
winning? What do you get?
If you
What do you
can
get
get in
for
the
winning
Super
this?
Bowl,
this
yes,
what do you get for
sir.
winning this division this year? Get your ass kicked in the fucking wild card game,
Super Bowl champions? No way.
dude. If you think you're going 6-10,
No
bro,
way.
if you all go 6-10 and win the Super Bowl, I'm done. I will delete. Listen, I'll make a bet right now. I will delete my fucking YouTube channel if y'all go 6-10 and win the Super Bowl. I will shut down. I will shut down my YouTube channel and I will straight up work for you for free. I will edit all your videos and everything.
You hear that? That's a good deal.
Straight up.
No, they're the best team in the division. I give you that. Nothing more. Nothing more than that. I give you nothing more than that.
They should win a division, even with their injuries.
Nothing more than that.
It's disgraceful of the Cowboys and the Eagles that they're playing like this year.
This whole NFC East, I don't know, man.
Yes, I've never seen nothing like it. I really can't remember nothing. The
Look,
closest I can remember was the NFC West a few years back. What was that, like 2010 or something? They were horrible.
it's damn near a three-way tie from last to second. And
And the funny part is, the Cowboys should be 0-6 right now. I don't
it's
know what happened on that onside kick at the lane. They just watched it roll. I still don't understand. After that, now I almost thought like the
that's
NFL's great.
why I don't like the talking they were doing after the games. You gotta make
And
they don't
the
make plays.
Cowboys against us got way favorable calls against the refs. They should be 0-6 right now. So everything should be way different. But listen, one thing that's got me nervous is the Eagles did play Ravens pretty good. But if you go look at their defense, even though it's like second in yards, they have given up a fuck ton of points this year. They're actually like 30th or 31st in points allowed a game. How does that even make sense? Second defense, and you're like allowing the second most points in the league. What the fuck is that?
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that in football sometimes you can have stuff like that where the stats don't match up how the season goes, but at the end of the day, it's like you know what you gotta. I always say in basketball, you gotta take it for what it is, and you gotta take advantage. You know?
Oh, now he's just over here buttering me up. You see this shit?
Nah, bro.
Too good. If I was that damn good, I'd have more than 80 subscribers. Get the fuck out of here.
It's a process though. Hey, we could be sitting here 3-4 years from now like with like 50-60K subs.
Oh yeah, you don't know. I don't think YouTube starts pushing your shit up the list until you hit a 1,000 or something. Somebody told me the first 100 are like the hardest to get to. That's what a big YouTube. I have some really big YouTubers that are I'm buddies with on here. You know TSR, OGR, all them guys. I'm cool with all of them.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy because like me and you we have about the same amount of subscribers, I guess. I'm like in the 70s or whatever. But it's like
it's fun. It's fun, man.
You don't even do it for that. I do it because I swear to you, you could tell by my channel. I'm like, I love New York sports. I love the Knicks. I love the Giants. I even love the Yankees when the playoffs are on. That's the only time I can watch baseball. I can't really watch baseball any other time when the playoffs. But I'm just a New York guy. I've been living here a long time. Like I follow my teams everywhere they go. I would never switch my teams because it's just I was growing up like that.
I was born in New York and lived there for a long. I had to get the fuck out of there. It's way too expensive. You're crazy for living there.
in New York.
Yeah, they're out of their fucking mind. They're out of their mind.
It's tough.
I moved up to Pennsylvania, bro. It's so much cheaper out here. But fuck you, Philly Ocean. Every time the goddamn Eagles are games on, they take my fucking game off for the Eagles game, so I gotta go to like hack the ass NFL websites, NFL bite and shit, and then I'm 20 seconds behind everything. So I'm getting scoring alerts before I even get to see the plays. It's horrible. I gotta turn my phone off every Sunday and shit on this hack. And you gotta reset the fucking website every 20 seconds and freezing up. Oh, it drives me nuts. Fucking Eagles.
That's crazy, man. I can't deal with that. Nah, bro, but we definitely have fun. We're all like-minded, and I already knew you were a good dude. I don't know why. I already knew, like, you're just a cool dude. I just knew it. I just knew it right away. I just knew it. I was like, yeah, man, this dude is gonna be cool. And like, what are the chances? Because like, I'm at a point where I'm trying to find a job, but it's like I'm gonna spend my time wisely in the meantime. So like, why not work on your passion? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, why not? Even if you start working, I mean, hey, we all got a few hours or something we can kill at the end of the day when we get home from work.
Yeah. No,
You know, as long as you're I noticed though, as long as you're consistent, because I was doing some hard work a few months back, and I took like a few months off. So I mean, I didn't get by the time I got home, I'm tired and shit. I didn't want to do video. There's no news going on.
yeah.
You know, when you start putting your videos back out, you ain't getting nothing. You're getting 10 views. But if you're putting out a video every other day, constantly, 30, 40, 50, 60. So it's all about consistency. You know, you don't gotta release a video every day, but I'm starting to figure this YouTube shit out. All right.
Yeah.
But I love it, dude. I don't care. I love it. I don't even know what the fuck, dude. I can barely even run my Dude, my laptop that I got, this thing's like 8 years old. No exaggeration. The N button don't work. The L button don't work, and the B button don't work. So I literally got to pull up an on-screen keyboard, bro,
That's a
to
grind.
type in all my videos. My ass is so poor.
Nah, man, we're all there in the same boat, you know. I mean, I'm getting some success by putting it in like Facebook groups, and people are actually watching. I'm very proud of that. People are
Gotcha.
actually watching,
Yeah.
you know. And
I don't know how to do that. I gotta try. Maybe one of these days you can help me out.
yeah,
I gotta
I'm gonna
figure
help
it
you
out.
out with that because especially for the Giants, if you want to, you know, you can put it in the Giants group, get you some views,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Oh,
think
that's
this will
cool. Yeah, I
help
didn't know you
us.
could do that.
You know, this will help us too because you just introduced me to a lot of guys that I never met before, which is cool because we're all on the same page. We're trying to do sports. You know, I feel like the
Oh
market's
yeah,
very
go over and
big.
check out the Sports Reaction. He's a really cool guy, man. He's got like 7,000, 8,000 subs. But if he sees your Giants and like a New York sport, he'll be all over you, dude. He'll be helping you out. Like every time I go on my streams, he's got me probably at least 10 or 15 subs just by when I go over. He's like, hey man, he makes videos. And you know who else? What's the guy? Online Big Blue Sports or whatever. He's got like 10,000 subscribers.
Is that the guy that does the impersonation? Hey, have a good night, Philly.
Yeah, man.
Good to see you in there, man.
Yeah, we're not eating shit. But, oh, you're eating it. You're eating it. Yeah, you're about to eat crows. What's gonna happen? All that shit you're talking.
We'll see you on Thursday, man. No, but for real though, have a good night, brother.
Yeah, I think that's cool though, man. Some of these guys are big and shit, and they take the time to come out and watch your little 10-minute video. And you don't gotta do that.
Yeah.
Even the entertainer talking sports, bro. He comes on. He like watches my videos and he's subbed and shit. So
Who's
it's crazy.
that guy? That guy with the he does the impersonation. I found him through you because sometimes I'll click on your stuff, and then there's a couple of guys that are Giants fans too. They talk about Giants stuff, so I click on them.
Kyle Pizzle?
The guy he does the impersonation with the mustache, and then he does like the voice thing.
He's a New York guy.
He's a New York guy. He'll do like the I commented on one of his videos. I don't know if it's in there. Shit. What's this guy's name? I'm not gonna be able to find it, of course.
Does he start his video with like music or nah?
Yeah, sometimes he'll like sing something or something. You've seen him before. It's online. Is it online Big Blue Sports?
Oh yeah. He leaves comments on my videos and that's so cool, dude. Like he leaves comments on my videos and shit, watching my videos. We don't agree on like anything because he's super negative with shit. Which I mean, I
he is kind of negative, but it's cool.
understand if you're super negative. But I think it's just cool, man. Actually, some people take time. Somebody's got under 100 subs, and I should go on this shit, watch it. Leave a comment. That's cool. I appreciate it.
I never would. If it wasn't for you, I would have never figured this out. I seen this thing before, but I don't really know the technical growing things. I just know kind of how to kind of make videos now. I'm getting better. I'm doing reactions now with the sports, even though a lot of that gets copyrighted. But
Mm.
some of it doesn't. So I don't really care about making money right now because eventually, like when we have you see how we have our format now. Like let's say we do our format like this, then we can still at least grow our channel that way, and we don't have to rely on like ESPN or something like that.
Hey, it's a grind, If you put out enough content, people are gonna see eventually. If you're making videos for that, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people. There's at least 10, 20,000 people in New York Giants fans that are just constantly on YouTube watching videos. So if you put out enough videos, they're gonna click on it. You know what I mean?
They have to. I mean, why not, right? I mean,
I just got 30 views off a video I made 6 months ago. It was I made a video about it was in the off season before we signed Kyler Fackrell, I think.
mm-hmm.
It was should we sign Jabal Shurd, the guy that we just signed.
So they looked them up and they saw you.
Yeah, so obviously that came up. They went down the list far enough to find me. I just got 25, 30 views on an old 6-month video and got 2 subs out of it. So
that's not bad.
So yeah, even the older shit, man, it's whatever pays off.
That's not bad at all. That's what you need, man. You just need consistency, and
That's
you need a
it.
topic that you like.
It's a grind. It's a grind. See the way these guys tell it to me, because I talk to a couple of these guys, you know what I mean, like in real life and shit. Like basically, you get there's marks you hit. When you hit 100, you get bumped up. Like the YouTube algorithm bumps you a little bit. And then if you notice, somebody hit 1,000, and then 2 weeks later they got 1,700 or 2,000 because they get bumped all the way up. Once you hit 1,000, you get bumped up the algorithm all the way to where somebody types it in, you're at the top. So we got to hit that 100, then we got to hit that 1,000, man. Yeah. But you want to do another one of these, on your channel?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for anything to help the channel grow, man.
You just hit me up, bro. You can do one whenever you want. I'm down to do this shit any day.
All right, let's do it. Let's see how we do against Philly, and then we can do it like a weekly thing, or we can do it like a every other day type of thing. We'll figure out the schedules as far as that goes.
That works. If you want to do on Friday, Sunday, next Monday, just hit me up. Let me know, dude. I got nothing else to do. It's just me and my wife here doing nothing.
Yeah, me too. It's just me waiting either for a job to call me or waiting for this to
go. I've given up on it. I got something lined up for next month, seasonal work, but I got time to kill.
All right, man. So we're gonna make that a plan then.
Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna get some dinner and hit the hay. But
yeah, me too.
Yes, I'll hit you up after the Eagles game, Friday afternoon or something.
All right. We'll link up then again. Well, then
have a good night, right, brother? All right, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man.
All right, bye.
Bye.